on their defense. What's the biggest challenge against Nebraska?
Right. The only reason they can go to Indianapolis if they win today is their defense. But Casey Thompson, quarterback for Nebraska, is a special challenge to him. And yet it's just fundamental defense that can keep him intact. Let me show you 3 plays from last week. The first one is 1st and 10. So Casey's going to scramble here and make something happen. But the result of the play is the most important thing. It's going to wind up being 2nd and 1. I mean, if you stay in that kind of 1st and 10 production, you're in good shape. This is 2nd and 9, and he moves the chain. So now it's 1st and 10. The next one's 3rd and 15, and he's just short of the 1st down. But it's about midfield. Today, if it's midfield and it's 4th and short, I'm guessing how Coach Joseph is going to go for it. So this is something that is so fundamental. Rush lanes, contain, and yet there's no guarantees. But if Iowa does contain Casey, they've got a chance.
One of the things I really like, he takes the fight to the defense as a quarterback. He's just not going to slide and take the yardage that he's given. He's going to try to fight. But I think they're going to need another playmaker to step up in this game. And I think that playmaker ultimately becomes Alante Brown. Alante Brown's going to run the reverse. He's going to have an opportunity to have some deep passes. He's got to be a playmaker in this game for Nebraska to be able to pull off a win.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a playmaker for Iowa. I know we love to talk about the defense, but I want to give you the weapon in this battle for field position. It is punter
Yes!
Taylor.
Yes!
Yes! They're letting me talk about the punter. I am excited about it. But guys, come on. We talk about complementary football. We talk about field position with Iowa. He's going to be a factor in this game. Think about the games that he won at the beginning of the season by setting up safeties against South Dakota State. Then think about all of the times he's pinned opponents inside their own 10. He's done that 16 times this year. 13 punts inside the 6. I mean, this is going to be a pivotal player in this matchup, and you guys know that that is true.
Hey, I totally understand. Well, my coaching career with punting was very often I'm with you with the punting.
We've talked too much about specialists on BTN this year. They deserve their shine, no doubt. But get back to some of the guys who'll be catching passes. Sam Laporta is one of the guys who won't be in this game because he's not going to play. And I think that this presents an advantage for Nebraska just in terms of how they can do their coverages now, because Sam Laporta is a guy who is doubling up in yards and receptions, the next leading receiver on this roster in Nico Reganey. So Nebraska can take a deep breath. Now it's time to capitalize and see if you can't make some defensive plays because of that.
A Nebraska defense that has gotten a little bit better as the year's gone on. They're still next to last in the Big Ten in terms of yards per game allowed, but we'll see, especially against a struggling Iowa offense, how they perform today. Lots more from our crew coming up, but let's send it back to Mike in Iowa City.
Dave, we're about a half hour from kickoff between the Cornhuskers and Hawkeyes, and the fans are still out because, let's be honest, they want to hang out with Cal Eldred. He played baseball at Iowa in the 1980s, drafted in the first round of the 1989 MLB draft, played 14 years in the majors, spent years as our network baseball analyst until leaving because Major League Baseball came calling. He was the pitching coach for the Royals the last 5 years, and he's our good buddy Cal Eldred joining us here on stage. And I haven't seen Cal in at least 5 years since he became all hoity-toity and all. But here's the thing. I do my research. And in getting ready for this interview, I started prepping. And I went to your Twitter page, and I found something interesting. I'd like to show you. This is real. On your Twitter page, this is not Photoshopped. Your location is wherever I want you, and your website is IamYourFavoritePersonEver.com. That is real. People can go see that right now.
They can go see it. And I will give everyone out there one guess as to who set that up for me. It was a few years ago.
All makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Cal, you made your debut with Milwaukee September of '91. What was your first reality check? What was that welcome to the show moment?
Well, it was really when I got up to the fact that I saw the New York Yankees were stepping in the batter's box. And that's when I saw Steve Sachs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been watching this guy since I was just a little fella. And but once I threw the first pitch and realized I better get my act together real fast between the ears, it was from then on, it was just being between the lines was the best place I could be.
Was the first pitch a strike?
That's a really good question. I have no idea. I have no idea.
You were such a great analyst. I mean, he was really an excellent analyst regardless of the sport. So I want to put you to the test. There has been huge news since you last worked with us. USC and UCLA are coming to the Big Ten. How is that going to affect Big Ten baseball on the whole?
Well, I think really it's going to should elevate it, because you're going to go from coast to coast now with baseball. And you're seeing a lot of different talent that the East Coast has. The West Coast is always bragging about the talent that they have. And, you know, being an Iowa Hawkeye, I would love to see the Hawkeyes go out there and beat the University of Spoiled Children. There's no doubt in my mind. So go out there and show those California people that there's some really good baseball here in the Midwest.
And couldn't you say that the month of February and March could be different now because you have a home team in warm weather?
You could. There's no doubt, because now all of a sudden there's a few more games that are going to be played by Big Ten teams in warmer weather. And that's always what has been needed in college baseball, and hopefully we'll balance it out a bit.
Cal, your son CJ was an Iowa Hawkeye. Did you ever get the opportunity to see him wear the colors that you used to wear?
I did. It was about, if I can remember, one time I got to see him pitch, maybe twice. But to be able to see him here in the black and gold was pretty touching to both me and my wife. My wife's a graduate from the University of Iowa, so it's even more touching to her. We're from an hour up the road in Urbana and Center Point. Still live in the area, but being able to watch your own kids play, that's more important and more impressive and more fun than doing it yourself.
If you've ever seen a hockey player play golf, you're blown away. And they say it's because the swings are so comparable. How close is a baseball pitcher's arm motion to a quarterback's arm motion?
Well, I think what you're actually seeing, it's interesting you ask that question, Mike, because a lot of pitchers in the game of baseball are shortening their arm paths, which is exactly what you see when a quarterback throws a football. It's short, it's quick release. It supposedly is supposed to help some people in their velocity. Every pitcher has a different kind of arm swing, and so it is very, very typical, very, very much the same. Like a guy like myself, I could throw a baseball a long way. I could throw a football a long way too. It's just sometimes us guys have a little bit harder time with the spiral that you're supposed to throw. That's the issue.
And outside of pitching, just baseball as a whole, do prospects today have a different skill set than back when you were pitching?
Well, I think that kids overall, you're seeing more kids that throw hard. There's no doubt about it. And I think a lot of that's from the training for sure. And these kids get better training earlier on. Some of us, kids like myself, we baled hay and shoveled manure. That's what got you strong, no doubt.
And they're proud of it.
Yeah,
I love
they're
it.
doggone right they're proud of it. Yeah. America needs farmers, that's for darn sure.
I was going to say that's a way you referred to working with me back in the day. But listen, before you go, Cal,
yes.
we have a baseball here, and we have a target over there. And we just think, you're a former major leaguer. You mentioned how close the arm throwing can be. Would you give it a shot at just seeing if you could hit that thing?
Am I supposed to try to just kind of about right here?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Just a little.
That's fine.
So hit the hitter in the head.
Hit the hitter.
Hit the hitter in the head. All right, let's see if we can do this.
There's no fine, I promise.
Yeah!
Through the eye.
Wait, I like that.
Eyeball.
I like that. Let's do it again.
Oh,
Let's
another
do it.
one.
Let's do another
We
one.
got one eye. Let's go for the
Let's
left
go
eye.
for the other eye.
All right.
Oh, that was good.
We got the left
You know what?
eye.
Here, we got a bunch.
Hey,
let's go through.
You guys should try this.
I think that's a
why
great
not?
idea. That's a great
I
idea.
would
You guys
love
should try
to.
this. All right, here we go. Just like this. Step
Okay.
into it.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just keep
Oh,
going.
that's fun.
There you go.
Oh, my.
This is so much fun.
This is America.
We should do this more often.
Happy
I love it.
Thanksgiving.
Get the
I love
anger
it,
out.
yeah.
Get it out. Yeah.
Cal Eldred.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're the best,
Thanks,
sir.
guys. Appreciate
Man,
the
that
time.
was fun. Try that at home, folks. Trust me. That's something you want to do with your family. Speaking of family, the Iowa Hawkeyes are a family, and they are on the field getting ready to play their rival, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. 24 minutes away from kickoff here on the Big Ten Network.
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance, because you never know where life is going to take you.
What can I do for you, man?
You know what? Really craving nacho fries. You guys got any of those?
Ads are working.
I don't know what you're talking about. What ads?
Oh, like all the pictures I put over here in your bedroom. Oh, I put that there. See you later, man.
These Snyder's pieces aren't pretzels, all busted up and blasted with boiled cheddar cheese flavor. Delicious. Tremendous. Stupendous.
What about my case?
Jack, you got a new case now, because these are not pretzels. Snyder's pretzels have gone to pieces.
It's not just a game, it's the game. And the battle is on. Ohio State versus Michigan. College football's greatest game. Premiering this fall, a new docuseries, Rivals.
Get great seats, safer, simpler, and smarter with TicketSmarter. Choose great seats from over 125,000 live events, all backed with a TicketSmarter 100% ticket guarantee. Get your tickets smarter at ticketsmarter.com.
No one achieves a dream alone. These are the people that made it all possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
You're not just another policyholder to us. We remember your name. Hi, Cheryl.
You remembered my name.
Because it's your name. That's simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if auto owners makes sense for you.
Big Ten Tailgate is brought to you by TIAA, dedicated to equality in retirement.
I got here early today to see what tailgating was like at a Nebraska-Iowa game on a Black Friday. Let's check it out. All right, so I found Chad here. Chad, tell everybody where you drove up from.
So we come out from Utah for every home game.
Utah?
Utah.
How long is that drive?
It's about 16, 18 hours. Depends on the weather, everything else in between, you know?
You are a Hawkeye fan then. What are you grilling up today?
So we've got ribs and we got pulled pork.
Can we taste one?
Yeah, we can get those going.
Oh, I'm taking you home with me.
Come on out. Anytime.
What's the drive Utah to Chicago? All right, what's our score here?
It's 8-0 right now. Actually, 8-1. Yeah, I'll give them the 1.
8-1. So you're crushing them.
Oh, we're crushing.
Okay,
them.
let's see you next.
Yeah, all right, here we go.
Oh, that's how we do. All right, the honorary toss. I'm on your team. I feel it. Please go in.
Oh.
That was close. I heard you're like the star of the day today. Is that right?
Yes.
So what are your responsibilities today?
To go have fun and make everybody else have fun.
How long have you been a Hawkeye fan?
Forever.
It's in your blood, right? It seems like the whole family's Hawkeye fans.
Yeah. Yep.
Give me a prediction today.
The final score?
Yeah.
21-17 Iowa.
I like it.
I like that.
He was fun. It's time for the TIAA game plan. It's a look at how the Hawkeyes have been doing in trophy games the last handful of years. They've just been absolutely incredible. And if they win this trophy game today, they're on their way to Indy. Maybe it's not the world's most improbable situation, but let's remind you how odd it is that they're here.
28-21, the final. Overcoming that 15-point deficit and winning it, Iowa will be headed to Indianapolis.
So yes, the Hawkeyes are the defending champs entering the year, meaning the thought of them winning the West wasn't crazy.
From this, we'll move on.
But they came into the season unranked, with lots of questions. We knew the defense would be good, but could the offense hold up their end of the bargain? Let's be honest, that was the biggest question of them all. And it started week 1, when they won a game scoring 0 touchdowns. 2 safeties and a field goal was all they could muster against an FCS opponent. Week 2, a loss to rival Iowa State with only 150 total yards gained, the fewest in a Kirk Ferentz coached home game ever. Still,
They entered October with a 3-1 record, but they lost to Michigan, running for only 35 yards total.
Booze coming down here from the folks in Kinnick.
Then lost to Illinois, scoring only 6 points. By the time they got smacked around by Ohio State, they had 4 games out of the 7 they played, scoring 10 points or less. The Hawkeyes had a 3-4 record, with their offensive star being Torrey Taylor, the punter. Iowa was in last place in the country in total yards per game. We're getting bombarded with questions about their quarterback and their offensive coordinator. And then, everything changed.
Petrus pass complete. Laporta, touchdown, Iowa!
The last 4 games, 4 straight wins, averaging more than 23 points a game, and here we are. 1 win away from being the first team to repeat as West Division champs since 2016-2017.
For the reigning Big Ten West champions, it's time to brag like it.
And here we are, 60 minutes of football away from them being the division champs in back-to-back years. What's the matchup, Iowa-Nebraska, you're going to keep your eye on the most today?
Well, there's a young man named Trey Palmer for Nebraska. He is a beast. When he is firing on all cylinders, when Casey Thompson has time to find him, he is a problem. But the reigning DB of the year in the Big Ten is also a problem. And Riley Moss last week tipped up the pass that led to the interception that sealed the game against Minnesota. Riley Moss may not be shadowing Trey Palmer because of how much zone that they run, but when they are lined up across from one another, fireworks.
Remember, no matter what the records are, the last 4 times these teams have met up, it has been a 1-score game every single time, which might make you want to pop some Tums, which brings us to our Tums-worthy moment, and that is with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Well, it has been a tough go for them making it into bowl games. Their last bowl was 2016. If KU gets into a bowl this year, which looks like it's going to happen, that means the Huskers will have the longest streak among Power 5 teams. The interim head coach of Nebraska, Mickey Joseph, standing by with Rick Pizzo right now.
Mickey, at stake for Iowa, a Big Ten championship berth. What would you say is at stake for your team today?
Well, just playing with a lot of pride and finish what we started and going out and playing hard and trying to compete in all 3 phases of the game. It's like we got to give maximum effort today.
What's the emotion like in that locker room for the seniors who know they're playing their last game, and for you since you don't know exactly what tomorrow holds?
No, like we said, we're going to control what we can control, and today we're going to control going out and trying to win this football game.
What's the biggest challenge when you look at this Iowa team playing its best football of the year?
Solid football team. You know, a really good defensive team, a solid offense, and really good on special teams. And they're kids that stayed in the program. It's kids that been around for a while, and they know the system very well. So we got to be solid in all 3 phases.
Mickey, I appreciate the time. Best of luck.
Rick, I appreciate you.
Hey, remember our friends earlier in the show, the Raptor Ambassador Program? There's Walter. That's our guy. He wasn't with us. We had 2 different birds, but that's Walter. They said he would make an appearance on the field, and sure enough, there he is. Hawkeyes ready to take on Nebraska in just a handful of moments here on the Big Ten Network.
I'll confess, our crew strategically stashes snacks on game day.
Jenny, you don't need to get that personal. State Farm Personal Price Plan simply helps you create an affordable price.
Nacho?
Call or click to get a quote today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Oh, hey there, darling, I count on you. The road is long and I'm scared. What I might find. I know.
Children like eggs? Here, they make your bones grow.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
All right, guys. Look alive.
Is it fine, Daryl?
I'm starving.
When free hot breakfast can make or break your day, it matters where you stay.
Go get 'em.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Over the middle and hey, that rookie corner? We were boys in college.
For real?
Well, I'd see him on campus a ton.
Oh, yeah?
I'd say, hey, hey. He'd say, what? What's up? Because he usually was listening to music because he loves music. You guys probably don't know that about him. Yeah, we're friends.
It's not just a game, it's the game. And the battle is on. Ohio State versus Michigan. College football's greatest game. Premiering this fall, a new docuseries, Rivals.
No one achieves a dream alone. These are the people that made it all possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
You're not just another policyholder to us. We remember your name. Hi, Cheryl.
You remembered my name.
Because it's your name. That's simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
This is a pretzel. And this is a hot buffalo wing. Do you know what this is? Bold buffalo-flavored pieces masquerading as pretzels.
What does this have to do with my neck?
They're flouting pretzel conventions. These Snyder's pieces aren't pretzels.
Big Ten Tailgate is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, the official chicken wing of NCAA football.
We try to beat the snot out of our rivals.
This is the best weekend in all of college football.
I'm taking you home with me. That's just mean. I mean, those people have family. Are you sure these aren't drones?
Shake hands and you'll know.
And your website is IamYourFavoritePersonEver.com.
I will give everyone out there one guess as to who set that up for me.
Even better in slow-mo there. Riley Moss on senior day inside Kinnick Stadium. The latest edition of a rivalry that dates back to 1891. Very few people who watch that game are around to watch this one, but still. Should be fun, less than 10 minutes away. Brock, as always, before we go, give us your bold prediction on what we're going to see in this matchup.
Well, it's funny, you know, I got my bold prediction right last week, and no mention of that.
Nope.
No mention, Bill, of that. But today's bold prediction, there will be some deja vu. Last year, Iowa blocked a kick, and it turned the tides. Iowa's offense has had a lot of talk. Their defense has had a lot of talk. Their special teams are still really dang good. They will block a kick today.
All righty. Here's the deal. We're not done with Tailgate. We are on this show, but not on the season. Coming up in 8 days, 2 Eastern, 1 Central Time next Saturday, Brock and I will be in Indy for a championship game edition of Tailgate. We will be there. Will Iowa be there as well? We're about to find out. Final thoughts right now coming from everybody in Chicago. Dave?
All right, thanks, guys. We will see you in Indy next week. Need a bold prediction from each of you.
Well, we know this is a stout defense for Iowa. Anthony Grant from Nebraska rushes for 155 today.
Along the same lines.
Okay.
Casey Thompson will rush for 40 or less yards today.
Oh, that's really interesting. So this Iowa offense, I think their best day throwing the ball was 246 against Michigan. They'll throw for 240 or more in this game. I see what you did there. Jerry's unbold predictions. Yeah, boring.
A quarterback will run for 40 or fewer yards.
Did you see him running up on my video? You see how he could run?
See, and Bill, our producer,
and
this is a problem.
It's rubber stamp.
He just enabled it. No, I started at 50. He made me move it to 40.
All right. Here's a bold one.
Okay.
Brock and I are hanging out with the special teams guys, so I'm going to take Torrey Taylor setting up a safety in this game by pinning Nebraska somewhere within the 10, maybe within the 5. That's already happened. That's not bold.
Yeah, that's not bold.
It's still very difficult
No, you have to do something that's never happened, right?
No,
like
here
we go. A career high.
A career high.
For a tight end.
Luke Lachey will set his career high.
Which is?
For catch 6, it'd be 6 catches.
6.
Really?
He's never done that.
So Sam Laporta's not playing, and so you go with the other tight end.
That is
unbold.
That is not
Iowa
bold.
250.
That's
bold.
That's off. It may be reckless.
You should be embarrassed.
Randy Garden, Jake Butt, Rick Pizzo, take it away. We will see you at halftime.
Football on the Big Ten Network is presented by Currency. A big one today at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. The Hawkeyes 1 win away from Indianapolis, and standing in their way, the rival, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Straight victories for these Hawkeyes, and here they come in front of a sellout crowd. What an interesting season for Iowa. They were 3-4, all the questioning, but here they are, 1 win away from going back to Indianapolis for a second straight season. There's a simplicity to Iowa football. Pure, plain, no nonsense, gritty, not pretty. Today's stakes mirror that simplicity. Win and a return trip to Indianapolis awaits. Lose and the championship game door opens for others. The last remaining obstacle, their neighbor, their rival. A prideful bunch restless to avenge past Black Friday pain. So buckle up and hunker down, as these 60 minutes will determine how the West will be won. And for Iowa, the formula is indeed simple. Win here, go to Indianapolis. You lose, and Purdue and Illinois both have a chance to steal the West Division. And it is just a perfect day for football. This tradition of these two playing on Black Friday, you could just feel the energy, the electricity as we walked in here today, Jake.
Rivalry sports or rivalry games are what we love most about college football. And how about it with the implications on the line, everything Iowa's been through this year, all they're thinking about is win, and you're in.
And that's the deal for Kirk Ferentz.
I can speak confidently and positively that the players of this country would much rather struggle and fight to win the Heisman Award than claw the gas. Thank you.
And now, here is the national anthem live from Kinnick Stadium.
Bureau Bands, Dr. Mark Heidel, our national anthem.
What an atmosphere today. Iowa's won 7 straight in this series, and they know what that 8th win in a row would mean. That trip to Indianapolis. For Nebraska, it's about pride today. They come in 3-8. They have lost the 7 straight to their rival, the Iowa Hawkeyes, but they have a chance today to get a victory and play spoiler. And for a lot of seniors on that team, a chance to end on a positive note to what has been a tough career. Nebraska, who has played on Black Friday for 33 consecutive years, and they do it again this year against the Iowa Hawkeyes here in the final week of the regular season. And with that, we say hello from the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Jake Butt. Happy belated Thanksgiving. Get your leftovers. Get ready. We got a good one for you here today. And for Iowa, Jake, look, we talked about it. The bottom line is, through all of the stuff this year that they've dealt with, the calls for a change at quarterback, the calls for a change at offensive coordinator, here they are, 4 quarters from Indianapolis.
What a wild ride that they've taken to get here, Brandon. Find themselves a couple weeks ago with their backs against the wall, no room for error, and all they've done is gotten better. Spencer Petras playing some of his best football. The offensive line is significantly improved. But there's a specific formula, a specific identity for an Iowa victory, and it's all about the defense and their ability to take the ball away. They are led by their stud middle linebacker, Jack Campbell. Came up huge last week in a must-win game with a big-time interception and a forced fumble, and here he is in senior night. Last game in this stadium, I expect him to be at his best.
Yeah, he is a good one. The Butkus finalist, as you mentioned, one just 5 players to have that distinction. For Nebraska, look, it hasn't been the year that they wanted. It hasn't been the 5 years that Nebraska and their fans have wanted. But they know, Jake, they can play spoiler today.
And that's the best part about college football, the rivalries. A win for Nebraska is a loss to your rival and a chance to ruin their season and spoil their season. The guy I'm looking at that needs to step up and play his best football today is the quarterback, Casey Thompson. He's an elite playmaker. When he steps up in the pocket, those second off-rhythm throws, making plays downfield through the air and with his feet. The challenge is can you be aggressive? Can you challenge this talented Iowa secondary, but avoid making the big mistakes? Because if you give Iowa secondary an opportunity to intercept the ball, they will, and that's their recipe for success.
Yeah, so good at doing that. Let's go down to the field and welcome in Rick Pizzo.
It's interesting, Brandon, because the man who coordinates that defense wouldn't be picked out of a lineup by most casual, even serious football fans. He is Phil Parker. He is underrated, but maybe the most impactful defensive coordinator in all of football. His defenses year in and year out. We are the top of the nation in points and yards allowed, and of course takeaways. Kirk Ferentz says Parker, who also coaches DBs, is the best secondary coach he's ever been around, and most importantly, the players will walk on coals for him. That defense needs to step up today because one of Iowa's most important offensive weapons, Sam Laporta, will not play. Laporta, a go-to receiver for much maligned quarterback Spencer Petras. But Ferentz told me this team never lost its faith in Petras throughout his early and mid-season struggles, and that is one of the biggest reasons why Iowa today is 60 minutes away from a second straight trip to the Big Ten championship game.
Since 2011, an annual tradition on Black Friday, and off we go from Kinnick Stadium. And it's returnable for Gavin Williams, but a great start for Nebraska as they will pin him inside the 15-yard line. And here is Spencer Petras. Rick called him much maligned. That is accurate, but the bottom line, his 31st start today. He's 20-10 as a starter, and over the last 4 games, Jake, you could argue he's playing the best football of his college career.
Why is he playing the best football, Brandon? I think it's the guys around him. They've been beat up at the receiver position. They've had to shuffle a number of guys across a young offensive line. It's the guys around him that are playing improved football that he's really benefited from.
And they're going to hand it to Arlen Bruce, the wide receiver, which they often do, but he does not get anything, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. This offense, everybody knows the story, just 17.5 points per game. But the big story, Sam Laporta out, also fullback Monty Potabom, who is very key to their rushing attack. He's out today as well.
Well, Laporta is their go-to guy, their #1 target. He's one of the best tight ends in all of college football. But I'm really excited to watch number 85, Luke Lachey, step up and step into that #1 tight end role.
Going to the air and throwing it well over the head of Deontay Vines. So a rough start, 3rd and 10 for Iowa. And this Nebraska defense, couple injuries for them today. Safety Marquise Buford injured his leg last week. He is out. We also found out late that their linebacker Luke Reimer, 245 career tackles, he is missing today.
And they've really benefited from some improved play from their freshman, number 15, Ernest Hausman. He stepped up, led the team in tackles, and defensive back, number 13, Malcolm Hartzog. He's been great in taking the ball away and helping their offense have a short field.
Well, they're going to need those guys today. And this ball incomplete. There are no flags, and a great start for that Nebraska defense. Peters did try to get it to Luke Lachey, but Tiva Maga-Clements getting the start for the injured Luke Reimer was ready for the task, and he broke it up.
Well, this will be a matchup we're looking at all day with Laporta out. The number 1 target's going to be Luke Lachey. He's going to be matched up on a couple of linebackers for Nebraska. Occasionally, they'll put a safety on him. He's going to need to win in those one-on-one opportunities if Iowa wants to leave this stadium with a victory.
And Maga-Clements, who broke up that pass. Final college game for him. Of course, no bowl for Nebraska. A lot of pride out there today for these guys playing their final game. A punt for Taylor. And Palmer with a fair catch at the 40-yard line. 46-yard punt. And the offense piloted by the Texas transfer, Casey Thompson. Missed a couple of weeks due to nerve issues in his elbow. Returned last week. And today makes his 10th start today. And Jake, he's had some mixed results this season.
Where he goes, Nebraska goes, Brandon. He reminds me when he's at his best of a Russell Wilson in terms of his ability to navigate the pocket, to step up. He did some great things running the ball with his feet last week, but the explosive plays come on those off schedule when he has to step up in the pocket, leave the pocket, then hit his guys downfield.
He's going to go to the air right away. And a good pitch and catch to the outside to Alante Brown. Who's been quiet lately, but 6 yards there to start for this Nebraska offense. 14 points or less for them in the last 4 games, and their run game has struggled.
Yeah, and then run game struggled again. It comes back to the offensive line for the run game and for keeping Casey Thompson clean.
Quick throw, screen to the outside, and a first down. There's Trey Palmer. He's the top target. 63rd catch this season.
All eyes on number 3 throughout this entire broadcast today, Brandon. They line him up all over the field. Sometimes he's the solo receiver on the backside. He had 2 big red zone touchdowns last week from the slot.
He's also 120 yards away from the single season record for a Nebraska receiver. Thompson pocket clean, tries to go underneath, and it's batted down. Good job by Logan Lee, the junior, to get a hand on it. This defense needs no introduction. Last week, Minnesota just 10 points against this defense. That means 8 of their 11 games, their opponent has failed to go past 10 points.
Yeah, and they're really one of the most disciplined defenses in all of college football. I think Phil Parker might only have 4 or 5 plays. All 11 guys just know the intricacies of every single detail.
To the outside to Palmer. Palmer working the edge and picks up the first down. And Nebraska's offense so far, Jake, 4 plays, 4 passes.
And that'll be the recipe. Give the ball to number 3 and let him work. He got a great block on the outside to spring him down the sideline.
Well, that's another number 3, but for Iowa, it's Cooper DeJean down at the moment. That's a very important piece in their secondary. We'll step aside for the injury. Back in a moment.
No one achieves a dream alone. These are the people that made it all possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Oh, hey there, darling, let me count on you. The road is long and I'm scared what I might find. I'll be safe with you by my side. Ain't nothing out there can take it stride. I know you hold me up so I can fly.
Back in a sec. We can't wait forever. All your nacho fries, please.
Made with Mexican spices. Made for nacho cheese sauce. Only at Taco Bell.
You're not just another policyholder to us. We remember your name. Hi, Cheryl.
You remembered my name.
Because it's your name. That's simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if auto owners makes sense for you.
It's not just a game, it's the game.
And the battle is on.
Ohio State versus Michigan. College football's greatest game. Premiering this fall, a new docuseries, Rivals.
Here we go!
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
So Cooper DeJean, who's having a great season, leads the team in interceptions. In less than 2 minutes in, see the hit that he took from Marcus Washington, and he is walking to the medical tent. And they're thin in the secondary, Iowa, Jake.
That's their thinnest position group, and now they're going to have to rely on a freshman, number 6, TJ Hall. Big moment for him to prove his talents.
Yeah, kid out of Fresno, California. He's out there replacing DeJean. Another pass for Nebraska, Thompson. Now he just flips it underneath. And he gets something out of that, Anthony Grant. 9 yards, so again, another pass. They have yet to run the football.
This is what we're going to be watching all afternoon, Brandon. When the play breaks down, the first read, second read isn't there. Casey Thompson, great at creating. Can Iowa's defense stay disciplined and force them into a mistake?
We talked about the offensive line woes. They've given up 31 sacks this year, near the bottom of the Big Ten. Here's the first run of the game for the Cornhuskers. Anthony Grant moving that pile easily to the edge of the red zone for a first down, a gain of 6. And he's the bell cow in the backfield. That's his 205th carry this season.
Coming off a tough game last week, wasn't really able to get it going, and it's going to be all hands on deck. Like we touched on already, this is one of the best defenses in America. They're going to need to find some type of run success if they want to challenge Iowa's defense.
Look at the numbers there the last 2 games. 27 carries, 51 yards for Grant. They're going to need more out of him today to pull off the upset. Back to Thompson. Thompson looking end zone. Incomplete.
Ooh.
Trying to get it to Oliver Martin. Riley Moss, one of the best in the business, was there in coverage.
I'd like to see another look at that one, Brandon. That's a great throw by Thompson, giving his guy a shot.
Flag back at the line of scrimmage here.
Well,
Ron Snodgrass, our referee. Turn on your mic, Ref. There we go.
Ineligible receiver, downfield offense. Number 83 was covered up. Penalties declined. Second down.
Let's take a look at this.
Okay.
No, never got in.
Nope.
Yep. Moot point anyway. But 2nd and 10 here.
And they called that penalty, so back-to-back plays there. Nebraska went into unbalance, meaning they put a tight end at the tackle's position and moved the tackle over to the tight end position. That time Vokalek was covered up, and that's how they were, and he ran a route downfield. They called it ineligible man downfield.
Empty set, Thompson bobbled it. And a throw over the middle is caught. Another one for Palmer. He's going to get 5. And that'll bring up 3rd down. Cooper DeJean is already heading back to the locker room after a quick pit stop in the medical tent.
So here's Trey Palmer. This is the exact position he was in last week when he scored his 2 touchdowns, lining him up in the slot.
That was their only 2 touchdowns last week in the 1-point loss. Pressure. Hit as he throws. It's a wobbly duck. Boy, Campbell almost got over there to intercept it, but he fell down, and a field goal try forthcoming for Nebraska.
Iowa was bringing essentially 0 blitz. Nebraska didn't have enough guys to block it up. Casey Thompson knew he was hot, but a dangerous throw. This is the last thing you want to do if you're Nebraska against Iowa's defense. They're as good as anybody, man. With that ball floating up in the air, Jack Campbell thought he had one. He actually got tripped by one of Nebraska's receivers.
Good job by Kayvon Merriweather, the safety, getting the pressure on the blitz. 33-yarder. And he missed it. Timmy Bleekrode pushed it wide to the right, and Iowa's defense escapes. Boy, you got to take advantage of scoring on this defense when you can.
Won't get down here too often.
But wide right, still zeros.
All possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Oh, hey there, darling, let me count on you. The road is long and I'm scared what I might find. I'll be safe with you by my side. Ain't nothing out there can take it stride. I know you hold me up so I can fly.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
Welcome to Hampton, Mr. Johnson. Ready for the big game?
Huge.
Huge. Big. Big game.
That is pretty big.
Big game.
Just a game, it's the game.
And the battle is on.
Ohio State versus Michigan. College football's greatest game. Premiering this fall, a new docuseries, Rivals.
Impact Players brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance.
There's a long list of Iowa, great Iowa tight ends. Sam Laporta is out today. We'll see him on Sundays for many, many years. That means Luke Lachey is stepping into that #1 tight end role. I put the center Logan Jones on here. He had been improving throughout the year, but had some errant snaps last week that really stalled some promising Iowa offensive drives. I'm looking at number 15, Ernest Hausman, the freshman linebacker for Nebraska, to have a big day.
Petras is going to roll out. Remember last drive they went 3 and out, trying to hang on, but it's going to be incomplete. Trying to get it to Nico Ragaini, the senior, 2nd and 10.
He had him. I mean, he's wide open, and Petras, his accuracy had been improving throughout the year. Those are schemed, easier passes off the boot action. Petras is going to have to hit those.
Ragaini, 25 catches. That leads all Iowa receivers, but you talked about Sam Laporta being out. 53 catches for the tight end that they're missing today. Just a huge omission in that offense. Up the middle, good start here for LaShawn Williams on his first carry. And Iowa gets their first down with a pickup of 11.
That was a great block by number 78, Mason Richmond. There he is at the left tackle coming up. Bang, sticks a linebacker, seals off the hole, and then LaShawn Williams does the rest.
So Iowa had run 4 plays and didn't gain a single yard. Now on their 5th play, they get 11 and a first down. Little pitch out. Williams again looking for blockers. Found a seam. 10 more yards and a first down. Patiently running behind Connor Colby there on the left side.
Logan Jones is your key block right there. They're pulling him around the mountain at the center. Snaps the ball. It's a really tough task, and he leads his running back right up through the hole. Bang, gets a nice block, and then LaShawn Williams back-to-back great runs, 10, 11-yard gains. I'm sure Brian Ferentz loves to see that.
He and Caleb Johnson have been sharing the load this year as the top 2 tailbacks. Williams now 107 carries on the season. Petrus fires a strike, but too tall. Trying to go back to Luke Lachey.
Petrus going to have to settle down. That's the second time he had an open guy on this drive. And in a big game like this, a chance to go to Indy, you're going to have to hit those throws when they're easy. Lachey ran a great route. He had separation against the freshman linebacker Houseman, and Petrus just flat missed him.
Petrus now 0 for 4, and you kind of hit on it earlier, but the last 4 games, 63% from him has been a vast improvement over where he has been over the last couple of years. Here's Caleb Johnson, the freshman from Hamilton, Ohio, and he's going to take it to the 44 for a gain of 3. So 3rd down here for the Hawkeyes.
And the challenge is when you throw on 1st and 10 and you're incomplete, now you run it and you get a couple yards, but 3rd and 7, 3rd and long, it's not really the place Iowa's offense is built to succeed in. And with the accuracy issues, Petrus is going to have to show up big and put it on one of his guys if they want to move the chains here.
Saw Kirk Ferentz looking on, who has won the last 7 games in this series. He's 8-3 overall in his tenure against Nebraska. Bruce goes in motion. Petrus looking for 7 yards here. Buys some time, but just throws it away. Everybody was covered in another Iowa punt.
Great job in protection. Offensive line held up strong. Petrus had plenty of time back there, but like you said, Brandon, no one's open downfield. And this has really been the key to Iowa's improvement, in my opinion. It's been the protection, as you can see there. Might have had a shot to Deontay Vines, but tell you what, Petrus, he doesn't make any mistakes. You can credit him for that. He throws the ball away and isn't going to leave his team in a vulnerable position.
Torrey Taylor, his 71st punt of the season. 72 is the most in college football. And it's fair caught by Oliver Martin. Spencer Petrus, not a great start, 0 for 5 throwing it.
No one achieves a dream alone. These are the people that made it all possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
We do more. We step up, stand out, break rules, and spark revolutions. We save lives, we give life, and we get right back to work. We deliver, no, we over-deliver, and we make it look easy. We ball, boss up, shatter records and ceilings and expectations, and at the end of all that,
we still end up with less.
Welcome to Hampton, Mr. Johnson. Ready for the big game? Huge. Huge. Big. Big game. That is pretty big. Big game. Big game. Best dress for the best dress. Me. Watch out. Down the sideline. Waffles.
I love waffles.
Tea with honey, Mr. Johnson.
When you need to get ready for the big game, it matters where you stay. Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello?
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
It's not just a game, it's the game.
And the battle is on.
Ohio State versus Michigan. College football's greatest game. Premiering this fall, a new docuseries, Rivals.
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
Here are the impact players when Nebraska has the ball, brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance.
Trey Palmer's really exploded onto the scene this year, proven to be one of the better targets in the entire conference. They're going to need Anthony Grant to step up at running back, establish some type of running game. Jack Campbell, one of the best linebackers in all of college football. But the key here, we just saw him go back to the locker room. He left the game. Number 3, Cooper DeJean. We know the identity for Iowa wins. They take the ball away. DeJean leads their team in interceptions, and it's looking like he may not be back on the field today.
Starting out inside the 15, Thompson is going to launch it deep downfield, right in stride. Trey Palmer is gone. Touchdown, Nebraska. One play, 87 yards.
And Brandon, that was on number 6, TJ Hall. We just highlighted Cooper DeJean, one of their best. Their starting defensive back goes out. They bring in the freshman TJ Hall, and that matchup was too much. Trey Palmer, stud receiver, and took advantage of the young freshman.
Did he ever? The LSU transfer with an 87-yard touchdown reception on a perfect pass from Casey Thompson. And Palmer is now knocking on the door for the single season record of 1,004 receiving yards set 4 years ago by Stanley Morgan.
So you got a couple safeties over here to help their cornerback, and really Palmer is running a big post, but watch the routes underneath it and how that affects the safeties as we let this roll. See a couple crossers, the safeties got their eyes on them, and that leaves TJ Hall one-on-one with one of the better receivers in the Big Ten, Trey Palmer, and he takes advantage of the one-on-one coverage. Beautiful route, stems outside like he's running a corner route. TJ Hall bites on it. And then Trey Palmer, former track guy, ran a 10-4 100-meter dash back in high school, showing off the Jets.
Rick Pizzo, what do you have?
That wasn't just about execution, it was about play design. During that last break, I didn't get to give this report before the play started because it happened so quickly, but the Nebraska coaching staff was debating not just getting Palmer moved around at the line of scrimmage, but the best option to get him matched up one-on-one with TJ Hall. It is not just about the throw, not just about the catch. The coaching staff saw a place that they had an advantage, they took advantage, and that one strike gives Nebraska the first quarter lead.
And their longest play of the season, that 87-yard connection.
It's a great call by Rick, and it's going to be something now with DeJean out. We're going to be watching that matchup all day, Brandon. They're showing early that they're going to try to attack the freshman TJ Hall.
And it silenced 70,000 here at Kinnick Stadium. Johnson. Not much there, a couple. Trey Palmer, who caught that touchdown, I mentioned he transferred from LSU, where his wide receiver coach was Mickey Joseph. Now his head coach, who is taken over as the interim when Scott Frost was let go in early September after the loss to Georgia Southern. Now on 2nd and 8, Spencer Petras, his first completion after 5 misses as he finds Ragaini, and Ragaini has the first down. I will say this for Mickey Joseph. Yeah, his record is 2-6 since taking over, but you talk to all of their players, he has kept that locker room together.
Absolutely. I mean, and they've struggled this year. It's no mystery. And when teams are struggling, Brandon, there's a fork in the road, right? Some guys, they throw in the towel. Some guys continue to compete, even through some of the adversity they've faced, losing a lot of close games. Mickey Joseph has been the leader of this locker room to keep them together, to keep them competing, and have a chance now, like we touched about in the pregame, to spoil Iowa's season.
Caleb Johnson out to the 40. Well, tomorrow we are all Big Ten all morning with complete previews of every conference matchup. It's Big Ten Tailgate presented by Buffalo Wild Wings tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Is there a big game tomorrow in the conference? I
think there might be.
Maybe in Columbus?
What's going on in Columbus?
Of course, Ohio State, Michigan for all the marbles in the East. Meanwhile, here in the West, Iowa will clinch the division title with a win today. If they lose, Purdue and Illinois have an opportunity. Off the bank, pressure, and the ball is loose, but he may have been down. And Petras coughed it up for the moment. Hang on here. I think they're going to say he was down. It looked like Ron Snodgrass had signaled a change of possession.
Rolling on the field, runner was down. 3rd down.
Let's see this here. Quentin Newsom, the one that coughed it up, and
that's
that ball's coming out, Jake.
That's out. Well, normally it's Iowa's defense we're talking about with the ability to take the ball away. But Nebraska's applying the pressure. They're going to review this, Brandon, and that is out.
The runner was down. The play's under further review.
Quentin Newsom came with a corner blitz. He's their top cornerback, and he caught Petras totally by surprise. First time today we visit with our rules expert Dean Blandino out in Los Angeles. I mean, Dean, it looks pretty clear to us. What do you think?
Yeah, two things the replay official has to look at. First, is it a fumble? And this is a great look. Ball's coming loose before that right knee hits the ground. Then they have to look for a clear recovery. Nebraska did recover it. You get both of those, and the ball's going to go over to Nebraska.
All right, Dean, thank you very much. We'll visit with you as the day goes on. You know, from the naked eye up here, I thought his knee was down, but clearly not the case, and a great play by Quentin Newsom. And then Ernest Hausman, one of the key players for Nebraska, true freshman that you talked about, Jake, he was the one to jump on it.
And it's the challenge anytime you play Iowa is the turnover battle. And if you can match their intensity, at least stay even, you really give yourself a good chance to win.
It was a fumble, and Nebraska recovered. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Wow, so it's Nebraska that's thrown the first couple of punches here in the opening quarter.
This is on Johnson. When it's a corner blitz, you have to be the guy. You got to abort the play action, and you got to take that corner. And it's clear as day the corner's coming. That's on the running back. The offensive line can't see that. They can't get out there. Brian Ferris told us Caleb Johnson's got all the talent in the world. He's a great running back, but for these young backs, the hardest thing is to learn pass pro. It came up last week. Nebraska saw it on film. They brought the corner blitz. Johnson was not ready.
And now Nebraska has it at the 31-yard line here, already up 7-0. Thompson taken for the right side of the field, incomplete. Trying to get it to Palmer for an update on Petras. Rick?
Brandon, Iowa didn't just lose the football. It may have lost its starting quarterback on that play. Spencer Petras got up shaking his right arm and started to try to massage that elbow area. He was just taken into the medical tent right now, but clearly in a little bit of distress after giving away that fumble.
Okay, Alex Padilla, the backup, who had oftentimes has been the most popular man in town when the fans have called for him, but he's only played in one game this season. Delayed give on 2nd and 10, and number 10, Anthony Grant. That play gets strung out, and he's only going to get 2. So 3rd and 8 for Nebraska.
This is a really big moment for Iowa here, Brandon. Their offense isn't exactly built to come from behind and put up points in a quick manner. Can Iowa's defense force a stop? You're right on that fringe of field goal position. Nebraska already missed a field goal. One thing you want to do is don't give up any yards and see if you can force Nebraska into a 4th down situation.
Thompson out of the shotgun. Iowa drops 7 into coverage. Thompson has nowhere to go. At the last second, he heaves it back, and it's dropped by Palmer off the bobble, but you can see the flags coming in on the field here.
And they're going to get Iowa either a holding or a DPI.
Holding, defense number 33, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
On Riley Moss.
There's Trey Palmer at the top of your screen, right in the middle of your screen, actually, working on Riley Moss. And there's the jersey. It's really easy for the official to see, and out comes the flag. And this is, again, we've talked about it already, these off-schedule throws when the first read, second read isn't there. Casey Thompson, really good at creating, really good at navigating the pocket and giving his guys a chance to win on those second, third rhythm shots downfield.
What a big call that is. And remember, Riley Moss, preseason first-team All-American. What a matchup between he and Palmer. A hole there for Ramir Johnson. Johnson to the 4 with a 1st and goal. He's only had 8 touches all season, Jake, but they give him an opportunity here, and he takes advantage.
He looked great running through the hole. A lot of speed, great burst. The offensive line did a great job of opening up that hole for him.
He stays out there, and he gets another carry. But this time, nothing. Iowa defense ready.
All right, Brandon, I know this Iowa defense, their mindset is if we got 1 yard, if we got any type of grass to stand behind, we're going to draw the line in the sand and make you earn it. Big moment here, as we touched on when Nebraska first got the ball. Can you end in a touchdown, or can Iowa force you to kick a field goal?
This Iowa defense only giving up 13.5 points a game, 5th best in the country.
Unbalanced once again. That's a tight end there in at left tackle, and your left tackle moved over to the right tight end.
Grant gets a couple halfway there. 3rd down, but I'm guessing if you're Nebraska, you may say this is 4-down territory.
Yeah, I mean, it's are you playing to be safe, or are you playing to win? This is a chance, like we talked about, you got nothing to lose. You've been moving the ball. Iowa's not really built to come back from it. You'd love to score here, but I'm with you, partner. 4-down territory.
Thompson fakes the handoff, throws for the end zone, incomplete. There are no flags. Was trying to get it to his top tight end, Travis Vokalek. And they are going to bring on the field goal unit for a chip shot.
Great job by Iowa's defense, man. Backed against the wall. Those guys don't blink. Like we said, they're going to draw a line in the sand. If you give them 1 yard to defend, they're going to defend it. Huge stop there to force Nebraska to kick a field goal.
Bleak Road missed from 32 earlier. This is 11 yards closer. No problem. So an Iowa defense that only gives up a little over 13 points a game has already surrendered 10 here in the first quarter.
No one achieves a dream alone. These are the people that made it all possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Oh, hey there, darling, we count on you. The road is long and I'm scared what I might find. I'll be safe with you by my side. Ain't nothing out there can take it stride. I know you hold me up so I can fly.
Welcome to Hampton, Mr. Johnson. Ready for the big game? Huge. Huge. Big. Big game. Big game.
That is pretty big. Big game. Big game.
Best dress for the best dress. Me. Watch out. Down the sideline. Waffles.
I love waffles.
Tea with honey, Mr. Johnson.
When you need to get ready for the big game, it matters where you stay. Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
On an urgent Fansville.
Hurry. It's almost kickoff. I am. Oh, they logged me out. What's the password?
Okay, it's P23XR ampersand.
I miss basic cable. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Currency. Need financing for heavy machinery, farm equipment, trucks, or trailers? Visit GoCurrency.com. Congratulations to Kirk Ferentz with a win last week. 115 Big Ten wins, tied for 3rd all-time. And now number 116 would be huge and get his team back to Indianapolis. But they are trailing early, 10-0. Nebraska looking sharp here on the road. Taking it off a bounce, Caleb Johnson. Dragged down across the 20. And how about this? Spencer Petras left, appeared to be dinged up. Out comes Alex Padilla, who's only played in one game this year, the second half against Ohio State. He did make 3 starts last year with mixed results.
And this has been a competition going back to spring ball. There's a competition throughout camp. There was a competition. They reopened the quarterback competition after Ohio State week. Padilla hasn't been able to beat out Petras, so this is his chance now to help his team come back from a 10-point deficit.
Junior out of Colorado turns and hands it off to Caleb Johnson for a good gain out to the 30. There have been so many cries in these parts for a change at quarterback, not only throughout this year, but throughout last year when Spencer Petras and the offense has struggled. Kirk Ferentz, Brian Ferentz, they have said no, we are sticking with Spencer Petras. But here Padilla is thrust into a key situation. Oh, he dropped the snap. But they're going to be able to keep it because Miller jumped right on it at the 30, and that's going to be 3rd down, but a lost play there.
Well, you're coming in off the bench. You haven't had a chance to get a bunch of snaps with your center, and that's a exhale. You can feel the intensity and the nervousness in the stadium right now, Brandon.
By the way, Eli Miller, who recovered that fumble, remember he's out there because Monty Pottebaum, the normal starting fullback, is out today with a leg injury. Hit at the line, but the second effort for Caleb Johnson got him the first. Excellent job by the freshman.
What a big play by Johnson there. He looked like he was bottled up. Looked like Iowa's going to have to send out the punt team with all the momentum going for Nebraska. And great job by Johnson fighting to get that first down.
10 runs, 6 throws so far. And as you can see, the passing game, which has been a struggle all season, is struggling so far today. Padilla, another handoff to Johnson. Johnson with a crease. And a first down run. A gain of 15.
Well, they're going to need this all day. Here's your left side of the offensive line double teaming, and then up through the hole is your fullback, Eli Miller. This is classic Hawkeye football. Bang, Eli Miller, a couple pancakes, and Johnson running up through the hole. Iowa's sticking with heavy personnel, extra tight ends, extra fullbacks. They're going to rely on this run game until Nebraska finds a way to stop it.
4-0 this year when rushing for 100 or more yards. That can be the bread and butter for these Hawkeyes. And Caleb Johnson had a 200-yard game 3 weeks ago against Purdue. This time it's his backfield mate LaShawn Williams. Looked like he might have gotten hit for a loss. Instead, he's able to stretch that out to the 46 for a gain of 6.
Nebraska bringing those blitzes, another corner blitz, a blitz off the edge. Forces LaShawn Williams to make a cut in the backfield. What could have been a nightmare, a loss of a couple yards, turns into a big gain. And I mean, Iowa, they're sticking once again with this heavy personnel, effectively staying in goal line personnel and goal line formations here in the middle of the field with only one receiver in the game.
Old school smash mouth football here. Another run and another successful run. First down. We'll see. They can let the final 35 seconds run out here if they want to. And then we will have one of the coolest traditions in college football, the Kinnick Wave, which started back in 2017.
It's big on big, Brandon. Look at that. One-on-one coverage up top. The rest of the guys are committed inside the box to stopping the run.
7th play of the drive. They've all been on the ground, but Nebraska's defense ready that time. Big Ty Robinson at 315 pounds in there for the stop. A Big Ten West Division title on the line for the Hawkeyes. Not the first 15 minutes that they had hoped for. Their rivals from Lincoln, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, up 10-0. And here is the Kinnick Wave.
Dylan, let's send our encouragement to the kids and their families watching the game. It's one of the greatest college game day traditions. And
beautiful setting. And
no one achieves a dream alone. These are the people that made it all possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Old Trapper Beefs. Fake protein.
Guys, can we take a quick protein break? Protein City. I got my beans, my bars, my goos, my glumps, my fizz. I don't know what that one is, but you want in?
I'm good, man.
I think Goop was a bad choice.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
With insurance from auto owners, you can relax knowing we got you covered. That's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
I should do this for a living.
I'll be back in a sec.
We can't wait forever.
All your nacho fries, please. Can't be mad. We got you nacho fries.
Made with Mexican spices. Made for nacho cheese sauce. Only at Taco Bell.
Here we go!
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
Busy weekend for Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren in Iowa City today, and tonight he'll be making the trek over to Columbus for the Wolverines and the Buckeyes tomorrow. Start of the second quarter, Iowa trying to mount a drive here down 10-0. Alex Padilla, the backup quarterback, in. Underneath, pass complete as he gets it to Ragaini. Rick, what do you have?
Brandon, no official word from Iowa as of yet, but this appears to be Alex Padilla's game. Spencer Petras shook his head no, as if telling Kirk Ferentz he was not good to go back in. I then read some lips as he told several of his teammates, I'm done.
Wow, so you go from a redshirt senior in his 31st career start to Alex Padilla, the junior, who did make 3 starts last year, but this is only the second game he has played in this season. On 3rd and 6, an inside handoff to Gavin Williams. They have 3 backs. Williams is the 3rd of those. 43rd carry of the season, and he's close to first down yardage, but about a half yard short. So you got a 4th down here, but looks like they're going for it.
Bringing number 31, Eli Miller, back in. Looked like they brought in another big body, a tight end, an extra lineman. All signs point to a downhill run.
They are not built, as you said, to come from behind. In fact, largest comeback victory this season, 3 points. And close. It looks like they got it from the spot as they just push behind that big offensive line. And yes, they will keep the football.
Really big drive here, really big opportunity for Alex Padilla. Can you go down? Great job converting the 4th down there on the quarterback sneak. Can you go down and score a touchdown? Settle this crowd in, settle your sidelines and your team into this game and get some points. They're staying with that extra offensive lineman in. So you got Lachey at 1 tight end and another lineman in at the right tight end.
10th run of the drive against just 1 pass. It's strung out, and Ativa Maga Clements swings Johnson out of bounds. Well, later tonight, the Badgers can clinch the Big Ten volleyball title, but a Husker squad with championship hopes of their own stands in the way. It's all powered by Unleaded 88 tonight, 8 Eastern, Big Ten Network, Fox Sports app. Title on the line there, a title on the line here today in Iowa City. Purdue and Illinois fans watching anxiously on this Black Friday. They wanted movement, that Nebraska defense, and the flag does come.
False start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So it's on the tight end, Luke Lachey.
Yeah, you're trying to go on a double count, trying to slow down the rush in the front of Nebraska, see if you can get them off sides. And Lachey, it's a tough penalty, man. It backs you up now in 2nd and 16 and pushes you really back to the fringe of field goal position as well.
Padilla's second pass since entering this game. Still on the run at the last second. Going to get some of that yardage back. Nico Ragaini, who has been the top target today with his 3rd catch, a gain of 7.
The way Nebraska's playing right now, they're playing really aggressive, putting extra bodies into the box and really essentially daring Iowa and Padilla to throw the ball downfield. They're okay playing one-on-one matchups outside. You can see it right here. Look at the bottom of your screen. Everyone's manned up, lined up. Iowa's in empty, and it looks like Nebraska's bringing 0 blitz. Who will win?
Iowa 1 for 4 today on 3rd down after a bobbled snap, and now it's free. And it's picked up by Garrett Nelson. Second forced turnover by this Nebraska defense. And Garrett Nelson, who they call the heart and soul of that Nebraska D, picks it up.
Nightmare
Time
scenario
out on the field.
Brandon. I mean, everyone saw it, right? You saw it, I saw it. It's 0 blitz. Bobbled the snap. It was a clean snap. He's got to get that ball out.
Ativa Morgan Clements, the one that forced it, and Nebraska in front right now.
On a patronizing Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
That's called an off tackle. That's where the running back runs.
I know what it is. Did you just fansplain me?
I'm sorry. I was out of bounds. That's where a player steps back.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
Welcome to Hampton, Mr. Johnson. Ready for the big game?
Huge.
Huge.
Big. Big game.
That is pretty big.
Big game. Big game.
Best rest for the best dress.
Me. Watch out. Down the sideline. Waffles.
I love waffles. Tea with honey, Mr. Johnson.
When you need to get ready for the big game, it matters where you stay. Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Conference standings brought to you by Discover. If Iowa wins, they're in. If the Hawkeyes lose and Purdue beats Indiana tomorrow, Purdue is in. If Iowa and Purdue loses and Illinois wins, Illinois goes to Indianapolis. The Illini face Northwestern tomorrow. But after the second turnover by the Iowa offense, Nebraska now has it at the 39. Thompson. And he got hit as he threw it into the turf, second down. And in case you didn't follow everything I just said, there it is visibly in written form.
It's been madness all season. It's only right that it's madness today.
That's right.
It has to put the icing on the cake.
Well, remember last year in this game in Lincoln, Nebraska got up 21-6, and then Iowa ended up winning 28-21. Ramir Johnson. He's given him a couple of nice runs off the bench today. I mentioned that coming into the game, he had only touched the ball 8 times this season, but sophomore out of New Jersey that they feel has a lot of talent.
Said some nice things, but I mean, this Iowa defense playing with 0 room for error. You got your backup quarterback in. You're without one of your best secondary elements in Cooper DeJean. Got to get off the field at a minimum here, but you'd love to try to force a turnover.
Whistles and a timeout by
Charge
Iowa.
timeout.
We'll take it with them.
First. It's a full timeout.
Here we go!
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
Oh, hey there, darling, let me count on you. The road is long and I'm scared what I might find. I'll be safe with you by my side. Ain't nothing out there can take it stride. I know. You hold me up so I can fly.
Your avocado toast.
Ew. Ew.
When the only thing your 8-year-old will eat is waffles, it matters where you stay.
Yum.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit?
Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
No one achieves a dream alone. These are the people that made it all possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Celebrating Fansville brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Time to celebrate Fansville and college football with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. Out in the tailgate lots, U.S. men's soccer team, of course, competing in the World Cup, taking on England today. A lot of folks were huddled around the TV hoping for a victory. Instead, it was a 0-0 draw. So U.S. 2 draws so far in the World Cup. Meanwhile, here in American football, 10-0 Nebraska to 3rd and 4. Thompson lets it fly. And wait, incomplete. Are there flags? Yes. Around the 16-yard line, one came in.
Castro's kind of pleading his case. Looked pretty clear to me that that's going to be a DPI or a holding.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Wow.
Yeah. Not much to argue about there. Second time already on 3rd down. Nebraska's offense has been bailed out by Iowa's defense. Usually a really disciplined unit. 2 big penalties to extend the drive for Nebraska.
All 3 penalties in this game have been against Iowa. Last week against Minnesota, neither team committed a penalty. It was the first time that happened in a college football game since 1986.
Charge timeout, Iowa, their second.
Now another timeout. Defensive coordinator Phil Parker is fired up.
No one achieves a dream alone. These are the people that made it all possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Old Trapper Beefs. Tough snacks.
Out here, nothing comes easy. That's why you gotta be tough. My truck, it's tough. My crew, definitely tough. But Old Trapper taught me the value of tenderness.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
Oh, it's a puppy.
I'll be back in a sec.
We can't wait forever.
Oh, you're not your fries, please. Can't be mad. We got you nacho fries.
Made with Mexican spices. Made for nacho cheese sauce. Only at Taco Bell.
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
Rivalry game history presented by Currency. As we told you, Iowa's won the last 7, but look at that last note. These games usually go down to the wire, and that's what we're expecting today. Although Nebraska right now up 10 and deep in Iowa territory here.
It's a really big set of downs once again. A field goal, if you can hold them to a field goal, then it's a 2-possession game, but a touchdown extends the lead to 17 points. 3 scores. It's going to be tough for Iowa to come back with a backup quarterback.
Looking for the end zone. Wide open, caught. It's Palmer again. His second of the half. And Nebraska right now is rolling in Iowa City. Earlier, those two connected for an 87-yard touchdown. This time it's 18 yards and the extra point from Bleak Road to try to make this 17-zip. It is good. Trey Palmer also became the single-season Nebraska record holder for receiving on that last catch. He went past Stanley Morgan.
So we called this route concept bingo. Iowa's in quarters coverage, so the safety is going to take the tight end running the basic route, and that leaves you one-on-one outside with your go-to guy, Trey Palmer, on the post. You see it right there. Safety comes down. He sees the basic, and once again, that's a matchup we're going to be seeing all day. TJ Hall, the freshman, on Trey Palmer. Number 3, the not freshman, the stud. You got to start to wonder, man. I mean, the confidence has got to hurt. Trey Palmer playing with a lot of confidence. TJ Hall, not much to be confident about right now. He's going to have to respond. As a defensive back, can you have a short memory and bounce back and make a play?
You saw the look on the faces of those Iowa fans. It is silent right now. When you think about the 2 Iowa turnovers, Nebraska's turned that into 10 points. And Mickey Joseph, all the buttons that he's pushing right now, they're working. Palmer has 129 of Nebraska's yards. Caleb Johnson. Good return. Past the 30. Well, Big Ten fans today only get 50% off a Big Ten Plus Wrestling Pass subscription. Stream the Hawkeyes on the mat tomorrow against Penn, plus other can't-miss action this season. Scan that QR code on the screen or go to BigTenPlus.com/subscribe. Right now, take advantage of this limited time offer. And when you check out, make sure to enter the code WRESTLING. Lashon Williams flag after a short game.
Holding. Offense. Number 79. 10-yard penalty. First down.
All 4 penalties in this game against Iowa. Last 4 games, 1 turnover. Remember, they had 6 in that blowout loss against Ohio State, and then 2 already here in the first half, Jake.
I don't think you could draw up a worse start for Iowa. I mean, you come into the game, you're already without Laporta, your best offensive weapon. You lose your quarterback. You lose your team leader in interceptions in Cooper DeJean on defense, and the penalties have killed you.
Yeah, 4 of them for 40 yards. That was a spot foul, so it's 1st and 18. They'll get a little bit of that back to Arlen Bruce, the sophomore from Olathe, Kansas.
Well, Nebraska's kind of taken a page out of Iowa's formula, right? Normally Iowa's the one that dominates the turnover category, and that's how they win games. But so far it's been the carelessness of Iowa's offense giving Nebraska short fields, and then Nebraska's been able to take advantage of it when they do get the ball in favorable field position.
Yeah, Iowa came in +7 in the turnover category, Nebraska -6, but the script has been flipped so far. Padilla finds the crosser. Ragaini. Atiba Maga-Clements made the tackle. And Jake, he got the start because Luke Reimer is injured, and so far he's forced to fumble and had a couple really nice plays defensively.
He's been one of the big reasons they've been able to jump out to such a big lead. You know, it's next man up in football, right? You're going to deal with injuries throughout the season, and he's made the most of his opportunity.
He started his career at junior college and now in his 3rd and final season at Nebraska. On 3rd and 13. Pass complete, but short, well short of the line to gain. Some boos from the folks here at Kinnick after that 6-yard catch by Lachey.
And there was Maga-Clements once again. Smart coverage, didn't need to be aggressive, didn't need to try to drive on it and force an interception. He knew that it was 3rd and long, so he could play back, give up the completion in front of the sticks, and then come down and make the tackle.
Kid who, when he came to Nebraska, was just mainly playing special teams, but he's playing like it's his final college game today, and it is. Taylor, that's his 72nd punt of the season, tied for the most punts in the nation. Fair catch by Oliver Martin.
On a patronizing Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
That's called an off tackle. That's where the running back runs.
I know what it is. Did you just fansplain me?
I'm sorry. I was out of bounds. That's where a player steps back.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
This is the hotel breakfast.
It looked different online.
Do you children like eggs? Here, they make your bones grow.
It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine.
All right, guys. Look alive.
Is it fine, Daryl?
I'm starving.
When free hot breakfast can make or break your day, it matters where you stay.
Go get 'em.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
BIG10 Network.
Built for Success, brought to you by Rocket Mortgage. Iowa's been so good down the stretch. This is in November. They've won 14 straight November games, second only in college football to Notre Dame. You know, Kirk Ferentz and his team, they just seem to do it every time. At this time of year, every year, they seem to just find ways to win. But boy, their backs are up against the wall right here.
Brandon, they took TJ Hall out. They put in number 16, Jamison Hines.
In that Iowa secondary, Hall had struggled. Defense ready there for Anthony Grant. And remember, TJ Hall came in when Cooper DeJean got injured in that Iowa secondary, and he got burned on the long touchdown pass to Trey Palmer.
And then burned again down in the red zone on another post route. I mean, at this point, you have to double Trey Palmer. He's been killing you. He's that good of a talent at receiver.
Already has 5 catches for 129 yards. But they'll stay on the ground. Grant tries to bounce this, and then gets bounced to the ground. So it'll be a 3rd and long coming up.
You have to get off the field right now if you're Iowa. This is the best position, the best opportunity you've had. Really, earlier in the previous drives, what killed them was the penalties. Defensive holdings to extend the drive for Nebraska. And let's keep our eyes on Trey Palmer. He's there in the slot up towards the top of your screen.
Thompson, pressure coming from all angles, and that pass is hauled in. Nate Borkertcher, but he's about a half a yard shy. Needed to get to the 25, and he did not. And now the punting unit, a little delayed, but Mickey Joseph, realizing that he didn't get the first down, does send on the punt team.
Our job 1, get the stop if you're Iowa. Job 2, corral the punt. No mistakes, no penalties. And then job 3 is to get some offensive momentum going, get down in scoring position, and put some points on the board.
Brian Buschini, the punter. Flag, and this is going to be against Nebraska. Their first penalty of the game.
False start. Offense number 5. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
And Margaret Clements, who's played so well on defense, making a special teams gaffe.
It's okay. It's a great call. You're 4th and 1. Go on a dummy count. Go on an extra count. See if you can force Iowa off sides and move the chains. 5 yards doesn't make too much of a difference in this scenario.
Backs Buschini up to the 5. They call him Boomshini. That's his nickname. An unfriendly bounce, though, for the punter. And Iowa will have it in plus territory. We step aside for 15 seconds.
Urgency.
Mickey Joseph was a quarterback at Nebraska. In his time there, his team only lost 9 games. He has seen 8 losses this year as an assistant and now the interim head coach. But his crew's up 17-0. Iowa's going to go to the ground and Caleb Johnson. And he's going to get 5. Drive summary brought to you by American Family Insurance. It has been a rough go for this Hawkeye offense.
That is not the drive summary you would like to see as a Hawkeye fan. Really rough start. And on the flip side, your defense hasn't been playing up to standard as well. Nebraska, specifically Trey Palmer and Casey Thompson, have been able to take advantage of some of those mistakes.
But you said it, this is just a huge opportunity to get something on the board before intermission. That's not going to help. Padilla not on the same page with Arlen Bruce. 3rd down. Bruce shaking his head.
I think he went a little deep on that route concept. Padilla, you saw, was off by a couple yards. Usually you run that wide field hitch about 5-6 yards. He had an opportunity to stop right before the sticks. He went a little too deep, not on the same page like you said with Padilla, and here you are, 3rd and 4. Huge down. Iowa in empty formation right now, signaling they're going to throw the football.
You'd have to think possibly 4-down territory here too.
You have to.
And a Padilla pressure, taken down. Caleb Tanner came off the edge and got him. The senior playing in his 56th game today, which ties the Nebraska record with a sack to bring up 4th and long.
So I don't know what the right tackle is doing here. I mean, this is your edge rusher. This is your guy all the way through. And where are you looking? That's Jack Plum. I mean, that's your guy. You're the right tackle. You got the edge rusher. I can't for the life of me think what he was thinking on that play. Well, sorry, Padilla, you got no shot.
We talked about it being 4-down territory, but when you lose 13 yards, now you've got to punt it. And it checks up beautifully. Well, Iowa's been able to rely on their punter, Torrey Taylor, today, and a nice one there. Back in 15 seconds. (17-0) Nebraska. Kirk Ferentz coaching in his 300th game as Iowa's head man. But this is the largest lead that his team has, or deficit I should say, that they have faced against Nebraska since 2011. That's when Nebraska joined the conference. And these two teams have been playing on Black Friday ever since. Thompson. Safety valve to Grant. And I think if you're Nebraska, probably play this a little conservative. Last thing you want to do is give Iowa a chance at a turnover down in this part of the field, right?
That's a good call. And Nebraska finds themselves in a similar situation as they had last week against Wisconsin, right? They were up. They had a chance a number of times throughout the game to put the game away and seize full momentum. I think another touchdown here, and it just makes it that much harder for Iowa to come back.
And Thompson is just going to tuck this and run. Short gain, 3rd and 4. Coming up, stick around. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups halftime report. Dave, Howard, and Jerry. They'll talk about the first half here and about the game between Michigan and Ohio State.
Brendan, we'll keep saying this on probably every 3rd down. Going forward, I mean, when you have an opportunity, understanding the way your offense is played to start this game for Iowa, you have to get off the field if you're Phil Parker and Iowa's defense.
Nebraska 0 for 3 on 3rd down today. Well, they got that one. Gabe Irvin Jr., he hasn't carried the ball, but the running back there with his first touch of the game keeps the drive alive.
He's a running back, and they're trying to pass it off at zone coverage there. But Quinn Schulte, the safety, just couldn't get there quick enough. It's an easy read for Casey Thompson. Off coverage, running the hitch on 3rd and 4. Just give.
Thompson, he's going to take a shot. Oh, it's almost intercepted. Was trying to go back to Palmer. Jamison Hines The sophomore from Humboldt, Iowa, had his hands on it but dropped it.
And that's where the injury of DeJean really comes into play. DeJean leads the team in interceptions, so in comes Jamison Hines. That's a play DeJean typically makes, and a play Jamison Hines really needed to make to give his team a boost. You won't get that many easier opportunities than that at an interception, Brandon.
Would have been the first of his career. And again, DeJean leads the team with 4 interceptions, but he left 2 minutes into this game.
Here's your guy to watch out for, Trey Palmer. They've come to him all day in press coverage. Got a lot of space out there to your bottom of your screen to work in one-on-one coverage.
Hold on here. Whistles before the snap. Timeout.
Charge timeout, Nebraska, their first. This will be a 30-second timeout.
We'll be back in 30 seconds.
On an urgent Fansville.
Hurry! It's almost kickoff. I am. Oh, they logged me out! What's the password?
Okay, it's P23XR ampersand.
I miss basic cable.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
Well, if you haven't been with us, quarterback Spencer Petras knocked out of the game. One of their top DBs, Cooper DeJean. Of course, one of the best tight ends in the country, Sam Laporta, out last week with a leg injury.
It's forced them, really backed them into a corner. It is going to be an uphill battle, a challenging day for Iowa to try to mount this comeback. In Nebraska, before we went to break, they were going to hand the ball off and just go into halftime. Let's see if they stick with that or if they try to throw it and move the chains.
They will look to throw. And not only throw, but throw it downfield, and it's caught near midfield. Marcus Washington, who transferred with Casey Thompson from Texas. They were roommates in Austin together, and they connect there for 25 yards.
Casey Thompson's on fire today, Brandon. I mean, he's been accurate. He's been reading the defense properly. Really has done it, other than that throw where Jamison Hines had a chance to make the interception. He's done it without putting himself in a vulnerable situation.
One of the best games he's played as a Husker. Anthony Grant tracked down in the backfield by Sebastian Castro.
And they're going tempo here, not too much urgency. Again, very conscious to make sure Iowa doesn't get the ball back with too much time, but they are in the driver's seat at this point.
And they will get the ball to start the third quarter as well. Thompson throwing again. And who else but Trey Palmer, who is now up around 140 yards today. Well, you're one more pass away from a long field goal.
Really, at some point, you have to double number 3, Trey Palmer. You got to have someone on him everywhere and keep a safety over top.
3rd and 1. Thompson kept it and gets the first. This has worked out this drive beautifully for Nebraska, outside of the near interception.
Great execution, and that's been the story all day, really, execution. Nebraska, they've out-executed Iowa in all situations on both sides of the football.
Remember, this drive started at their own 10-yard line. Now on the edge of field goal range with 2 timeouts, but that's not going to help. That's the last thing you needed. Thompson gets taken to the ground. Deontay Craig, the first to get to him for a loss of 5.
Charge timeout, Nebraska, their second. This will be a 30-second timeout.
1 timeout left. Thompson's limping. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
On a patronizing Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
That's called an off tackle. That's where the running back runs.
I know what it is. Did you just fansplain me?
I'm sorry. I was out of bounds. That's where a player steps back.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
Casey Thompson was limping a little bit after that last play, but he told his head coach he's okay. Remember, he missed 2 games with an elbow nerve injury. In fact, he says the pinky finger on his right hand still tingles from time to time. Doesn't have full sensation back in it. But he battled back last week and now making another start here today following that injury. Nebraska 1 timeout in 18 seconds here. And Thompson over the middle. And it's caught into field goal range. Again finding Washington. A flag in the backfield.
Holding. Offense. Number 75. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's a big flag right there on the center, Trent Hickson.
And he's working there with Noah Shannon, and yep, that's easy call for the official, and a huge call too to take away a big gain that would have had Nebraska in field goal position, and now they're backed up all of a sudden on the wrong side of the 50-yard line.
All the way back to the 46. Do you still try to be aggressive with a couple of passes? You have the timeout.
I mean, I would, because it's been working. I don't see why not. Iowa has not proved that they can stop the downfield passing attack.
They lost 5 seconds there because the clock started on the ready. And now you can't do anything. He tried to rush down and take a timeout. We'll see if they put a second back on the clock.
Yeah.
Iowa's trying to run to the locker room, but the officials said, hang on. They're going to talk about this. Nicky Joseph was sprinting down with 1 second to try to call a timeout.
That's the end of the first half.
And that will do it. I think they maybe have been surprised that the clock started on the ready there. They lost 5 seconds in that process, but that's what should have happened. What a first half, though, by Nebraska. Coming in, playing for pride, trying to ruin Iowa's chances of going to Indy. Up 17-0. Down to Rick.
Brandon, thank you. Mickey, you told me pregame this team never lost its belief in each other. How much of that did you see manifested in that first 30 minutes?
Hey, great effort. Great effort. Now we got to come back and play these 30 minutes with the same effort. We got to increase the effort.
A couple of touchdowns by Trey Palmer. How did you guys take advantage of that matchup with an inexperienced DB?
Well, this is about matchups in a passing game. I think it's a good matchup for Trey right now.
What's the message as you guys get ready for the 3rd and 4th quarters?
To come back out here and play strong 30 minutes and try to win this game.
Mickey, thank you.
Thank you.
What a first half for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, up 17-0. Total yards 240 to 72. Domination by the boys from Lincoln. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups halftime report after this.
Start playing and never stop playing. You get the most from the game when you're having fun.
Introducing Discover Online Privacy Protection. We'll help remove your personal data from 10 popular people search websites. Because the thing about your personal information is that it should stay private. Online Privacy Protection. Free from Discover.
Welcome to Hampton, Mr. Johnson. Ready for the big game?
Huge.
Huge.
Big. Big game.
That is pretty big. Big game. Big game.
Best dress for the best dress. Me.
Watch out. Down the sideline. Waffles.
I love waffles.
Tea with honey, Mr. Johnson.
When you need to get ready for the big game, it matters where you stay. Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
On a patronizing Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
That's called an off tackle. That's where the running back runs.
I know what it is. Did you just fansplain me?
I'm sorry. I was out of bounds. That's where a player steps back.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
No one achieves a dream alone. These are the people that made it all possible. I guess you can call this my Hall of Fame. With the right support, any dream is possible. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Here we go! Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
I'll confess, our crew strategically stashes snacks on game day.
Jenny, you don't need to get that personal. State Farm Personal Price Plan simply helps you create an affordable price.
Not true?
Call or click to get a quote today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Halftime in Iowa City, and what a half for the Huskers. And Trey Palmer, Cooper DeJean out with the injury, and the Huskers take advantage of it. Casey Thompson to Palmer became Nebraska's single-season receiving yards leader in this game. Over 1,000 yards. Huskers up by 7. Then Spencer Petras is hit. Quentin Newsom recovers. Petras out for the game. Alex Padilla coming in, and it didn't go much better. Garrett Nelson scoops it up for the Huskers, brings it back 14 yards, and that sets up Thompson to Palmer again. Palmer had just 97 receiving yards the last 4 weeks combined. How about 138 in the first half? Nebraska on top 17-0 as we welcome you in the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup halftime show. Dave Revson, Jerry DiNardo, Howard Griffith. Seems like old times, fellas. It seems like old times for the Huskers as well. They finally got things rolling here and really looking good.
Yeah, I mean, we keep saying the West is crazy. I don't think it's any crazier than it has. But for Iowa, I mean, they're going to have to find a way to protect Padilla. They're going to have to find out what routes Padilla feels comfortable with. Yep. And again, the defense is going to have to win it. And they're not playing great. Obviously, they've had some injuries.
And give some credit, really, to this Nebraska offense finding the matchups that they would be able to exploit and really taking advantage of them with Palmer going on the deep route with an inexperienced corner who obviously doesn't get a lot of reps because he's a backup. But this Nebraska team is doing all the right things that they need to on the offensive side.
And I think we can anticipate Phil Parker going to cover 2, right?
Which means they'll run.
Which means they'll run, or they'll get Palmer down the middle. I mean, it's going to be pick your poison the way it's going right now.
What's shocking to me, though, is that Iowa's inability to pick up in pass protection. It's really been shocking to me when you see that sometimes there's an uncovered guard and tackle and they don't fan protect to get out to get the corner or that edge rusher is something that is really uncharacteristic of an offensive line that I watch from Iowa.
But they have to stay out of empty with Padilla. I mean, that takes a bunch of reps. You have to recognize it. I mean, they put him in empty early when he first went in there. Yeah. He had no chance they'd be safe.
Yeah, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it here. Iowa has not played well. I mean, there are a lot of things.
On either side.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things working against them. They've had 2 huge injuries in this game. One of your best defenders and your starting quarterback, but just flat out haven't looked good. And
I like the way you tied this all together.
Yeah, but let's also give Nebraska a ton of credit, right? But they've already said 17 points. That's more than Iowa's given up in 9 of 11 full games this year. That's what they've given up here in the first half. We got a huge game tomorrow in the Big Ten. Yes, have you guys heard? Ohio State is playing Michigan, Howard. So get some notes, collect some thoughts. We're going to have to talk about it in like 2 minutes.
I've got to
get ready. Yeah.
2 minutes.
The Big Ten Network Halftime Report is presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Mis hijos me ven como un gigante. Un imponente gigante. Y cuando saltan para alcanzar mis huellas, cuando juegan a tumbarme, cuando alzan la mirada y descansan sus ojos en la cumbre de mi ser. ¿Quién soy yo para decirles que no lo soy? Ram.
Welcome to Hampton, Mr. Johnson. Ready for the big game?
Huge.
Huge.
Big. Big game.
That is pretty big. Big game. Big game.
Best dress for the best dress. Me. Watch out. Down the sideline. Waffles.
I love waffles. Tea with honey, Mr. Johnson.
When you need to get ready for the big game, it matters where you stay. Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
I'll confess, our crew strategically stashes snacks on game day.
Jenny, you don't need to get that personal. State Farm Personal Price Plan simply helps you create an affordable price.
Nacho?
Call or click to get a quote today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Start playing and never stop playing. You get the most from the game when you're having fun.
Whenever heartburn strikes, get fast relief with Tums. It's time to love food back.
Tums. It took me like 2 weeks to like really understand what happened. Like for real, like after the game, I just went home and laid down. You know, like 2 weeks later, I looked up and was like, oh, we did that thing that it seemed like was impossible for people to do.
It's up in the locker room, it's up in the weight room, it's something that we bring up on a weekly basis because it was unacceptable. It hurts, there's a scar there. It was not a fun off season, and we need to be continually reminded of that game.
Michigan, the breakthrough win last year, just its second in the last 17 meetings with the Buckeyes. Of course, they go at it again tomorrow at noon on Fox. You look at the schedule, all of a sudden, those 3:30 Eastern time games on the Big Ten Network take on a little different tenor. Purdue and Illinois potentially playing for a spot in Indy unless Iowa is able to come back here and get the win over Nebraska. So championship scenarios all around tomorrow. Let's start with the East, Jerry, and Michigan and Ohio State.
You know, we've talked a lot about Ohio State being explosive in the pass game and Michigan not being explosive in the pass game, but Michigan can be explosive in the run game. And if Jim Knowles does play zero coverage, meaning man coverage with no free safety, and J.J. runs the ball coming out of the decide option, that could be as explosive as anything because there won't be anybody to front up J.J. if he could break the line of scrimmage because he can flat out run.
Well, he could be one-on-one with a corner or a secondary player, which probably the advantage goes to him. But you go to the West, and all of a sudden, if this game holds the way it's going right now for Nebraska, you've got a lot of Purdue fans and Illinois fans that are pretty excited about what's happening right now. Now, listen, Iowa fans, don't get mad. I'm not trying to say you can't come back. I think they can. They have an opportunity here. But there's some other fan bases that are excited about the opportunity that they have in front of them right now.
All right, so Purdue and Indiana, what would it take for obviously Purdue's the favorite in the game. What are the biggest things you'd be watching there?
To me, it comes down to being able to protect O'Connell for Purdue. when Purdue is rolling from an offensive standpoint, O'Connell's comfortable in the pocket and able to throw it all over the place.
And Illinois, of course, would be a heavy favorite over Northwestern, particularly given the fact the Wildcats are on a fourth-string walk-on quarterback. Never know, though. That's why we watch. Noon Eastern tomorrow is when we start things off with Rutgers and Maryland. Then those two games we're talking about that may just be for the Big Ten West. That is, unless the Hawks can mount a comeback here. Longest pass play for the Huskers in 8 years. Casey Thompson to Trey Palmer. Nebraska on top 17-0 at Kinnick.
Whenever heartburn strikes, get fast relief with Tums. It's time to love food back.
Tums.
This is the hotel breakfast.
It looked different online.
Do you children like eggs? Here, they make your bones grow.
It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. All right, guys. Look alive.
Is it fine, Daryl?
I'm starving.
When free hot breakfast can make or break your day, it matters where you stay.
Go get him.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's Jessica taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
I'll confess, our crew strategically stashes snacks on game day.
Jenny, you don't need to get that personal. State Farm Personal Price Plan simply helps you create an affordable price.
Not true?
Call or click to get a quote today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Start playing and never stop playing. You get the most from the game when you're having fun.
The Big Ten Network Halftime Report is presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Huskers football today, Huskers volleyball tonight on the Big Ten Network, taking on number 3 Wisconsin. The Badgers could clinch the Big Ten with a win. A top 5 battle brought to you by Unleaded 88, coming up on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app, 7 Central Time. Now, the Hawkeyes haven't overcome a deficit of 17 or more points in 11 years. Got to do it here to knock off Nebraska. Trey Palmer, 2 TDs. Huskers up big. Second half coming up.
Over the middle. Hey, that rookie corner? We were boys in college.
For real?
Well, I'd see him on campus a ton.
Oh, yeah?
I'd say, hey. He'd say, what? What's up? Because he usually was listening to music, because he loves music. You guys probably don't know that about him. Yeah, we're friends.
Old Trapper Beefs. Tough snacks. Out here, nothing comes easy. That's why you gotta be tough. My truck, it's tough. My crew, definitely tough. But Old Trapper taught me the value of tenderness. Old Trapper, what's your beef?
Oh, it's a puppy.
I'll be back in a sec.
We can't wait forever.
All your nacho fries, please.
Can't be mad. We got you nacho fries.
Made with Mexican spices. Made for nacho cheese sauce. Only at Taco Bell.
Saturday, the regular season concludes with a colossal doubleheader. Wisconsin faces Ohio State. Then, Nebraska hosts Minnesota. Women's volleyball, powered by Unleaded 88. Saturday, only on Big 10 Network.
This is why you come to be special, to play in games like this.
Ohio State game is going to be a dogfight. It's going to be one of the biggest games in history. Get so much emotions behind me and I'm thinking about playing that game.
The Journey, Tuesday on Big 10 Network.
Wednesday, the ACC Big 10 Women's Challenge tips off with a doubleheader. Purdue faces Syracuse. Then, Minnesota hosts Wake Forest. Coverage begins Wednesday at 6 Eastern, only on Big 10 Network.
For the biggest Big Ten experience, there's no plus like home. The Big Ten Plus app, your favorite Big Ten content streaming and on demand, plus the iconic games and exclusive events. Only on the Big Ten Plus app, powered by Big Ten Network. Download and subscribe now.
Spencer Petras, starting quarterback, making his 31st start, injures his shoulder on that play. And the offense, which has struggled all year, only has 72 yards at intermission. Sam Laporta, star tight end, already out before the contest, down 17-0 at half. Jake.
Injuries, big reason they're down 17-0, and injuries are a big reason it's going to be that much harder for them to come back from being down 17 points.
Drew Stevens will kick it off as Nebraska not only with a 17-point lead, but they will get the ball to start the third quarter. And a touchback as they'll bring it out to the 25-yard line. Brandon Gaudin, Jake Butt, happy holiday weekend, everybody. So, hey, if I was going to make this comeback, we know they're not built to come from behind. What's the recipe for success?
It starts with defense, because that's been their formula all year long, and they're playing with no margin for error. You have to force a turnover. You have to find a way to give your offense some type of short field so they can have favorable opportunity to put some points on the board, but it's not going to be easy as good as Nebraska's been playing.
Both turnovers in the first half were by the Iowa offense. Nebraska has lost 7 straight in this series. And going to the air, slinging it to the outside. There's Oliver Martin. He lost it out of bounds after the catch. Oliver Martin, by the way, from right here in Iowa City. 4 punts and 2 fumbles for that offense, and the big touchdown, 87 yards, and Iowa just 72 total yards in the first half. The other direction this time, Palmer, who had that big 87-yard touchdown reception. He also had an 18-yard touchdown reception. He gets 8 there.
He's having a career day. I mean, look at this. I think before that catch, he had 6 catches, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. I said it in the first half, at some point you got to put 2 on him. You got to double team him and take him away, because he's been Nebraska's #1 target.
Handoff, Anthony Grant. Well, the running game has been okay for them too, much better than it has been. I mean, in the last 8 games, Jake, they've been averaging less than 3 yards a carry.
And it helps to, you know, sometimes you run to throw the ball, but today it's really been you've thrown it to open up the run game. And look at that. Look at Iowa. Everybody up on the line of scrimmage. They're playing one-on-one coverage once again. Let's see if they go back to Trey Palmer.
Palmer's in motion. Off the edge, some pressure through the hands of Palmer right there. Well, as you noted earlier, Riley Moss has been all over him, the preseason first-team All-American.
So they send Palmer in motion. Riley Moss goes with them. They know it's man-to-man coverage, and at that point on a shallow route, it just becomes a track meet. Riley Moss, great job staying in his pocket, but they're going to need to do it once again. 3rd and 7. There's one guy that we all know Casey Thompson is thinking about targeting. It's number 3, Trey Palmer. There he is once again, the point in the bunch.
Thompson on 3rd and 7. Underneath, too much. Threw a fastball outside of the arm stretch of Chancellor Brewington. So the Iowa defense got what they needed here to start the 3rd quarter. They're going to be receiving a punt from Nebraska.
And that's what we'll be watching, really. Iowa's defense. No room for error, no margin. Can't give up really any more points, and ideally you force a turnover. The challenge then is for Nebraska. You've been aggressive. You've been able to capitalize. Can you maintain aggression without giving up a turnover?
Bushini, who had just a 29-yard punt last time. Oh, it's dropped. Oh, my goodness. It's recovered by Nebraska. Alante Brown jumped on it. Arlen Bruce coughs it up. It's the 3rd Iowa turnover in the game.
You know, Brandon, I can't understand why Bruce isn't, you know, throw up the fair catch, right? You got a guy, Garrett Nelson, a big physical defensive player for Nebraska, screaming downfield, unblocked, right in your face. I don't know what you're going to do there. Iowa tried to send pressure to block it. So you know you're not in a return formation. You know you don't have blockers out in front of you. That's a fair catch situation all day. He doesn't do it, and now Iowa pays the price. Man, this is a tough situation for Iowa's defense.
And Nebraska's offense back on the field with a ball at the 18-yard line. Grant the running back, but they're going to flip it to Palmer. Palmer's got Vokalek as a lead blocker, and he steps out around the 10 and takes a spill. And a flag comes in here at the end of this. See that Iowa defense saying, no, I was pushed. Kayvon Merriweather was over there, number 26. Wouldn't be surprised if they pick this flag up. Well, the crowd just saw the replay.
There is no foul in the play. The action by the defender was legal. It's 2nd down.
So a 7-yard gain, 2nd and 3.
So here's what you're looking for. You got Kayvon Merriweather, yep, and he clearly got pushed. And that's what Iowa was trying to plead their case to the officials. Great call on the officials getting that squared away. It's the right call.
Second and 3, Grant switches direction, but can't get to the outside. A swarm of Hawkeyes there. Riley Moss got there first to disrupt it, and Benson and company came in for a loss of 3.
Massive down here coming up, Brandon. A field goal, it's a 20-point game. A touchdown, if you can get to a touchdown and a field goal, now it's a 24-point game, which would mean Iowa would need to do really the impossible, which would be score 3 touchdowns and convert 2-point conversions just to tie it.
Remember, this is an Iowa offense that only averages 17.5 points a game. They're already down 17.
Here's your guy, Trey Palmer, one-on-one. Iowa's bringing the pressure.
Thompson was looking that way. It's caught. It's not Palmer. This time it's Marcus Washington. His former Texas teammate is in. And it's 23-0.
What a play. What a day. Casey Thompson sees the pressure. He knows he's got one-on-one coverage and gives his guy Marcus Washington a chance. 6'2", 190, big frame, and he shows it there. And Mickey Joseph, he's loving that.
First touchdown as a Nebraska Cornhusker for Marcus Washington. And it gives his team a 24-0 lead. Another Iowa turnover turns into more points. 17 points off turnovers for Nebraska. Marcus Washington says, if you think you're going to Indy, might want to change your plans.
I'll confess, our crew strategically stashes snacks on game day.
Jenny, you don't need to get that personal. State Farm Personal Price Plan simply helps you create an affordable price.
Not true?
Call or click to get a quote today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Introducing Discover Online Privacy Protection. We'll help remove your personal data from 10 popular people search websites. Because the thing about your personal information is that it should stay private. Online Privacy Protection. Free from Discover.
Why you come to be special, to play in games like this.
Ohio State game is going to be a dogfight. It's going to be one of the biggest games in history. Get so much emotions behind me and thinking about playing that game.
The Journey, Tuesday on Big Ten Network.
Saturday, the regular season concludes with a colossal doubleheader. Wisconsin faces Ohio State. Then, Nebraska hosts Minnesota. Women's volleyball, powered by Unleaded 88. Saturday, only on Big Ten Network.
Folks in West Lafayette right now smiling big. Iowa down 24-0. Of course, Illinois also has a shot at the title if Iowa loses, but they would also need Purdue to lose to Indiana tomorrow.
Well, if you're Iowa here, I mean, you got to do something, right? You got to find some type of way to put points on the board, and you work your way from there. But you can't go 3 and out. You've got to find a way to get a touchdown. Even a field goal would do you well.
Tomorrow, trio of games kicking off. Rutgers against Maryland, and then what could be some really big games. Purdue and Indiana, Illinois and Northwestern. All starts with Big Ten Tailgate tomorrow. Big Ten Network. Fox Sports app. Can Iowa do what most would think with their offense, and what's happened this year is near impossible? Can they come back from down 24 in the second half? They've got their backup quarterback Alex Padilla in there since Petras got injured early. Short carry for Caleb Johnson. Rick Pizzo.
Brandon, we saw Iowa very conservative with Alex Padilla in that first half. I asked Kirk Ferentz as he came out of the locker room if he felt like the offense needed to be opened up a little bit underneath the backup quarterback. Now, at that point, it was 17-0, and Kirk said, no, at this point, we need to stick to our game plan, make sure he's comfortable before we decide to take those shots. Now you're down 24-0. The plan may change a little. It certainly changes if you don't score on this drive.
Yeah, no question about it. But they're going to go to the ground again with Johnson. It's going to bring up 3rd and 2. And Padilla they were talked about out of high school, his accuracy. And, of course, he put up big numbers in high school, but a lot of folks do. But last year, Jake, small sample size, just 49%.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of goes all the way back to the quarterback competition with Petrus. He had plenty of opportunities to beat out Petrus. Petrus continued to win, which means Padilla was the backup. And, you know, now they're going to need him to be at his best, and they're going to get a false start by the fullback there, Eli Miller. The penalties, the turnovers, the mistakes have killed Iowa today.
False start. Offense, number 56 and 31. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
After every game, the opposition says Iowa does not beat themselves. Today, 3 turnovers, 5 penalties now.
Well said. I mean, we've come to know a specific identity about Iowa. They don't make any mistakes. They force you to make mistakes. They're extremely disciplined. And in the biggest game of their season, when they've been playing great football, disciplined football for the most part, they have certainly beat themselves today, Brandon.
They're just 1 for 7 on 3rd down. And Padilla fires a strike. It's caught. There's Lachey. The tight end in for Sam Laporta, and they move the chains.
We've come to this play a couple times. We call it Y branch. Branch is a deeper version of the stick, and you see the zone coverage there. Look at Lachey. Instead of breaking out, he settles down. If he broke out and ran full speed out toward the sideline, that could have been an interception by Malcolm Hartzog. Great job feeling the zone by Lachey, and a great job reading it by Padilla and putting it on him. That's a huge completion.
He had 5 big completions last week after Laporta got injured. That's his 2nd today. Williams behind the pile. Good surge. Gain of 8. But those miscues, as we highlighted, that's the story right now.
And they're going to have to pivot, right? You can't afford a single more miscue throughout the day. In fact, you're probably going to have to force Nebraska into some of their own miscues.
Big collision running right into Maga Clements and getting the 1st down. Strong run by LaShawn Williams, a 210-pounder.
Throughout the day, Iowa has been able to move the ball at times, but what's killed them more than anything is penalties and mistakes, shooting themselves in the foot. As soon as they get momentum, it's been something self-inflicted that has stopped that momentum. They cannot make those same mistakes here on this drive.
They're finally up over 100 yards of offense. Only at 72 in the 1st half. Pitch out, Johnson. And Johnson dropped by Colton Feast after a 5-yard gain. Well, this is about as in rhythm as they've looked. They did have it inside the 30 in the 1st half, but then they fumbled.
See the frustration look there, Brian Ferentz. It's not a coordinator, not a coach that's smiling ear to ear. You can feel his frustration through the screen.
Of course, son of Kirk, 6 years the offensive coordinator. Before that was the offensive line coach from 2012 to 2016.
Look at how aggressive Nebraska is. Look at how many guys they have in the box committing to the run right now.
But still slipping through Caleb Johnson. Johnson, 10-5, touchdown, and Iowa is on the board.
Caleb Johnson's been great throughout the year, Brandon. When he's had an opportunity, he's been their explosive back that's had some big-time long touchdowns. And that time in a big, big moment with their season on the line comes through for the Iowa offense.
Extra point good. Hawkeyes have a pulse. They needed it. They got it. 44-yard run for Caleb Johnson.
All right, young man, we need a big play. What do you got for us? Caleb Johnson right up through the hole. Screaming down the sideline and in for a huge touchdown for the Hawkeyes.
On an urgent Fansville.
Hurry! It's almost kickoff. I am. Oh, they logged me out! What's the password?
Okay, it's P23XR ampersand.
I miss basic cable. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
I'll be back in a sec.
ever.
All your nacho fries, please. Can't be mad. We got you nacho fries.
Made with Mexican spices. Made for nacho cheese sauce. Only at Taco Bell.
Wednesday, the ACC Big 10 Women's Challenge tips off with a doubleheader. Purdue faces Syracuse. Then, Minnesota hosts Wake Forest. Coverage begins Wednesday at 6 Eastern, only on Big 10 Network.
For the biggest Big Ten experience, there's no plus like home. The Big 10 Plus app, your favorite Big Ten content streaming and on demand. Plus the iconic games and exclusive events. Only on the Big 10 Plus app, powered by Big 10 Network. Download and subscribe now.
will punt it.
When they're doing it right, this Iowa defense is so fun to watch. It starts with Riley Moss there setting the edge because Grant tries to bounce it. And the one thing about this Iowa secondary, they're willing tacklers. I know he didn't make the tackle there, but he forces a cutback, and then you see all the black jerseys, 6, 7, 8 guys flying around to the ball to force Nebraska to bring on the punt team.
Arlen Bruce back deep. Remember, he muffed a punt earlier, and Nebraska picked it up. Fair catch here, or was it not a fair catch? Johnson, no. They'll say it wasn't. A quick tackle on Bruce.
Welcome to Hampton, Mr. Johnson. Ready for the big game?
Huge.
Huge.
Big. Big game.
That is pretty big.
Big game. Big game. Best rest for the best dress. Me. Watch out. Down the sideline. Waffles.
I love waffles.
Tea with honey, Mr. Johnson.
When you need to get ready for the big game, it matters where you stay. Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance, simple human sense. By Currency, need financing for heavy machinery, farm equipment, trucks, or trailers? Visit GoCurrency.com. And by Discover, the official credit card of the Big Ten Conference. Nebraska and Iowa, you saw their team meals. This was our team meal last night with our wonderful crew here at the Hyatt Regency nearby Coralville. And thanks to our wonderful crew for their hard work all season long. They are tremendous, headed up by Bart Fox, our producer, director Andrew Blaustein, and many of our fine crew right there. And we thank them for all that they do to bring Big Ten football into your living rooms each and every week. But it's not the game that we thought. Nebraska jumped out to a 24-0 lead, but Iowa has scored. Their defense gets a stop, and now they've got a chance to get a little closer. Well, do you think that they can continue, Jake, they being Iowa, to get back into this game just running the ball, or are they going to have to put it in the air?
At some point you have to put it in the air, but I kind of agree with it where it's, hey, we got to get that first down. You know, the last thing you want to do is go 3 and out. And right now, your best offense is getting into big personnel and running downhill, and 3rd and 1, you expect more of that here.
Caleb Johnson, by the way, over 100 yards now, and they're going to sneak it and get the first down easily. So Iowa was down 24 in this game. Should they erase this deficit, still a long way to go, and win this ball game, it would be the largest comeback win in program history. Previously down 21 in 2011 against Pitt before winning.
Even more crazy, Brandon. I mean, you mentioned it. They're averaging about 17 points a game on the season. You would need to score 25 straight, really, to come back.
And down 17 right now. Another tote for the freshman. Almost a horse collar, but there is no penalty marker. Garrett Nelson got his hand up there, but no, that's, you can grab by the jersey. The crowd disagrees. They're booing because they just saw the replay.
You kind of have to as a fan, right?
That's just,
yeah. I didn't see a horse collar, but if I was a fan of Iowa, I'd probably be booing too.
You see it through different colored glasses.
Pressure on the refs, the officials.
3 minutes left in the third. This time a play fake. Padilla through the hands of the intended receiver, Luke Lachey.
Well, he had him. He threw the fastball like Randy Johnson out there. Didn't need to put that much tempo on and missed him, and had a chance there to make it at least 3rd and manageable. I guess 3rd and 5 is still 3rd and manageable, but haven't really had much success throwing the ball downfield, and this is an opportunity here where they're going to have to throw the ball downfield.
Well, this half, they've run 12 plays, 10 of them on the ground. That was just the second pass.
3 for 9 on 3rd down, and a lot of those conversions have come in 3rd and short situations.
This is 3rd and 5. Padilla, first down. There's Lachey. Tried to stay in bounds, but got tripped up by Newsom. And Luke Lachey, the sophomore, whose father, Jim, was a 3-time Pro Bowl tackle in the NFL, gets the first down.
It's a great job. So they're running a corner and an out route, and the receiver stems inside, effectively acting as a pick route, but definitely not a pick route. And then that gives Luke Lachey leverage. He runs a speed cut out route, has a lot of separation. Padilla puts it on him that time.
His father, Jim, played at Ohio State. Luke born in Columbus, although Ohio State did not offer him out of high school. Johnson stutter step, nowhere to go. Tracked down to the backfield by Isaac Gifford. Gifford getting the start today at safety because Marquise Buford suffered a knee injury last week, done for the season.
Nebraska, we'll watch them line up here. They are overloading this box right now. Once again, just daring Iowa to throw the ball. So look, you got one-on-one coverage, one-on-one coverage, one-on-one coverage. That puts everybody else in the box in there.
Chance for Deshaun Williams. Nothing doing. In fact, it's a loss of 1 again, so 3rd and 12.
That's why we're trying to highlight the box there. I mean, it's not advantageous, right? You're outnumbered. Nebraska has more guys in the box to stop the run than you can block. And the last thing you want to do is lose yards. Again, the goal is to get to 3rd and manageable or avoid 3rd down altogether. And now you find yourself in 3rd and 12. This might be the longest completion of the day for Padilla if he can make it happen.
Do you view this as 2 plays to get 12 yards?
It has to be, right? Your season's on the line.
And you're already down to 16 minutes left in regulation here. Padilla pressure as he threw it incomplete in the direction of Nico Ragaini. Well, 4th and 12, or do you punt it? You're already in plus territory. And the offense is jogging off the field, so I guess there's our answer.
And Bill Bush, the interim defensive coordinator for Nebraska, he brought 0 blitz basically there. They brought the safety down. They brought both the linebackers. You know, not many coordinators bring 0 blitz. 0 meaning no help in the backfield. 0 help in the middle of the field, because it really leaves you vulnerable. If Iowa's able to connect on it, could be a big explosive play for a touchdown. But until Iowa proves they can hit it, I'd expect more aggression from Bill Bush and the Nebraska defense.
Well, their formula's been working today. Everything's been working for Nebraska. Up 24-7. Timeout.
It's time to love food back.
Tums.
This is the hotel breakfast?
Do you children like eggs? Take your pick.
When free hot breakfast is a must,
Yeah, we're not staying here.
it matters where you stay.
Go get him.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
This is why you come to be special, to play in games like this.
Ohio State game is going to be a dogfight. It's going to be one of the biggest games in history. Get so much emotions behind me and thinking about playing that game.
The Journey, Tuesday on Big Ten Network.
Wednesday, the ACC Big Ten Women's Challenge tips off with a doubleheader. Purdue faces Syracuse. Then, Minnesota hosts Wake Forest. Coverage begins Wednesday at 6 Eastern, only on Big Ten Network.
For the biggest Big Ten experience, there's no plus like home. The Big 10 Plus app, your favorite Big Ten content streaming and on demand, plus the iconic games and exclusive events. Only on the Big 10 Plus app, powered by Big Ten Network. Download and subscribe now.
Tonight, 8 Eastern, Badgers squaring off with the Huskers. Huge volleyball showdown powered by Athletic 88, only on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Top 5 matchup there. Here it is Iowa trying to come from behind to get to Indianapolis, but things are starting to look more and more bleak. Cornhuskers with the ball back, less than a minute to go in the third quarter. Ramir Johnson staying on his feet, keeping those legs churning. 6-yard gain. By the way, Casey Thompson, 3 passing touchdowns, most by an opposing quarterback in this stadium since September of 2018. He's had a heck of a game.
And 3 touchdowns, absolutely. He's been playing great football, but the most important stat, 0 interceptions.
You saw Palmer out there. He's had a couple of touchdowns today. Another run. Johnson was able to get through the first line of defense, but couldn't get much further. As that winds us down to the end of 3. Nebraska up 24-7.
Jazz Bath. Come along with me on a musical joyride. Call 1-866-JAZZ-BATH or visit myjazzbath.com to order your free compact disc today.
Welcome to Hampton, Mr. Johnson. Ready for the big game?
Huge.
Huge.
Big. Big game.
That is pretty big.
Big game. Big game. Best rest for the best dress. Me. Watch out. Down the sideline. Waffles.
I love waffles. Tea with honey, Mr. Johnson.
When you need to get ready for the big game, it matters where you stay. Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Final game of the season, Senior Day. Of course, these Hawkeyes will have at least one more game. Whether that's a bowl or the Big Ten Championship and a bowl remains to be seen. But so far, Senior Day has been dominated by Nebraska, 24-7. Now, big 3rd and 3 here to start the fourth quarter. Thompson out of the gun, rolling right, completes it, Palmer, and Palmer has just enough. He needed 3, he got about 3.5. That was huge.
They're scheming up every way to get him the ball. He kind of was lined up off the ball in a half bunch. And he was just running a flat route, and it was him all the way. It was number 3, Trey Palmer, all the way. Thompson got it to him, and he got just enough to move the chains.
1,028 receiving yards for him on the season now, most in a single season in Nebraska history. Johnson again. He's gotten quite a few carries today. That's his 7th, and he's up at 43 yards after that pickup of 4.
He's made the most of his opportunities. Anthony Grant is the first one out. He's their starter, but Ramir Johnson has stepped up when he has had his opportunities. Looks explosive running downhill, quick to hit the hole.
I mentioned they really like him for Bergen Catholic in New Jersey. He was a 4-star that had a ton of offers. Had a big game last year against Michigan, 172 yards. Thompson, pressure up the middle, just got rid of it. Could it be grounding? There's no receiver in the area as he got rid of it. Noah Shannon was the one who brought the pressure on the quarterback.
They're talking about it.
Yep, they drop it.
Intentional grounding. Offense. Number 11 was outside the pocket, but there was no eligible receiver in the area. Lost it down to the spot of the foul. 3rd down.
A big penalty and the correct call right there.
Huge penalty, really backed up now, and the likelihood that you convert down significantly. I've been showing you Trey Palmer today, but how about we keep our eyes on one guy they've attacked. Number 16, Jamison Hines. Backup corner in for Cooper DeJean.
3rd and 16. They're going to go conservative. Johnson, nothing there. Look at that Iowa defense.
Swarming.
Swarming indeed, and a punt coming. So Iowa gets the ball back, still a 3-score game. Essentially, with how Iowa's offense operates, every time they touch the ball from here on out, they have to put points on the board.
100%. And you go back to the touchdown, decided not to go for the 2-point conversion earlier. Kick the extra point, and you're right, that makes it a 3-possession game. It looks like Iowa is trying to bring the juice here, maybe try to force a block.
Woo. But Bushini got it away. Takes a good Nebraska bounce. And finally settles down at the 26. 54-yard punt, but hold on, there's a penalty marker that came in here really late.
You know, somebody jumped over the shield back there.
Personal foul. Defense leaping the punch shield. Number 29. There'll be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
Man, are you kidding me? Sebastian Castro.
And why? Why? You know, you know Kirk Ferentz. You know that discipline is the #1 thing this team stresses. I know they've went over that. I know Castro knows that that's a penalty.
Now, what about the people at home? And I'm not saying this is right, but say that he was lifted and thrown over the shoulder rather than jumping over.
I thought it was a little bit of both.
That's what Castro's claiming. And Kirk Ferentz not very happy. Dean Blandino is joining us from the studio, our rules analyst. Dean, what did you think of that last play?
Yeah, so the rule is clear. You can't jump over the framework of the players in the punch shield, and that's what it looked like occurred. It's going to be 29 going over the players. It's tough because you're going to see those players actually initiate contact as well. It's a safety thing. It's a judgment call, and that's what they ruled.
All right, Dean. Thank you very much. And now before this next snap, a timeout taken by Iowa.
Charge timeout. Iowa, they're first. This would be a full timeout.
And the boos rain down at Kinnick.
The play.
What can I do for you, man?
You know what? Really craving nacho fries. You guys got any of those?
Ads are working.
I don't know what you're talking about. What ads?
Oh, like all the pictures I put over here in your bedroom. Oh, I put that there. See you later, man.
Wednesday, the ACC Big 10 Women's Challenge tips off with a doubleheader. Purdue faces Syracuse. Then Minnesota hosts Wake Forest. Coverage begins Wednesday at 6 Eastern, only on Big 10 Network.
This is why you come to be special, to play in games like this.
Ohio State game is going to be a dogfight. It's going to be one of the biggest games in history. Get so much emotions behind me and thinking about playing that game.
The Journey, Tuesday on Big 10 Network.
For the biggest Big Ten experience, there's no plus like home. The Big 10 Plus app, your favorite Big Ten content streaming and on demand. Plus the iconic games and exclusive events. Only on the Big 10 Plus app, powered by Big 10 Network. Download and subscribe now.
Here again, that huge call that kept Nebraska with a football, Jake.
Yeah, and the rule is you cannot leave your feet to jump over the shield. And Castro, he got helped by the Nebraska shield there, but he certainly left his feet. And the rule's in place to protect the jumper. You saw that's a scary sight when your head is facing the ground, you're up in the air. It's to protect the jumper. And once again, I know that is emphasized in the special teams meetings. You cannot try to jump over the shield.
Kirk Ferentz was arguing that Feast lifted him up, which he did, but there was also the jump prior to. That's what they ruled. So Nebraska still has the football here as precious time ticks away for Iowa's chance to get to Indianapolis. We'll get all the news and highlights from around the conference on the Big Show tonight, 10:30 Eastern on Big 10 Network. Kirk Ferentz's team, known for never beating themselves, but they have had 6 costly penalties and 3 turnovers, very uncharacteristic of this Hawkeye program today.
A number of them coming on third down, defensive holdings, defensive pass interference. That time, fourth down and long. You get the ball back. You needed the ball back, and you bail Nebraska out.
Thompson fakes the give, and then a safe throw underneath to Chancellor Brewington, the tight end. Rick, what do you have?
Brandon, some reminders on the Nebraska sideline that the clock is now the Huskers' friend. This goes against Nebraska's DNA, typically a team that does not waste much time coming off that play clock. Last 2 plays, they've taken it down to 15, 10. The plays are still coming in quickly to keep them in the rhythm they are used to. But Casey Thompson is being instructed, you're never to snap this before 20. Try to get it down to 15 or 10 every second we take off the clock right now. And you see Thompson motioning. As I explained this to his offensive linemen, we're slowing down. We are not snapping this ball until there's less than 5 left on the play clock.
That's exactly what they're doing. Snap here at 3. Second down.
Johnson, the ball
now,
carrier.
Brandon, you might ask and say, hey, how does this affect Nebraska? They aren't traditionally a team that likes to operate with such a slow tempo, but it's, to me, I like it. It's what you have to do, and you understand the clock is your best friend because Iowa's offense isn't built to score points in a hurry. So even if it hurts you a little bit on offense, what you gain in terms of forcing Iowa to have to do something they certainly haven't proved capable of doing, which is to score 20-plus points in a hurry, it just makes too much sense. It's the right call.
Think about this Nebraska team, all they've been through this year. Scott Frost gets fired after a few games. Mickey Joseph takes over. They've lost 5 straight coming in here today. And you've got an Iowa team that's playing for everything, for a chance at a Big Ten title. But Nebraska, they have been the aggressor from the start.
And knowing Iowa's DNA, knowing that they like to have big interceptions and turnovers in big moments, I wonder if Mickey Joseph says, hey, let's just stick to the ground game here. Let's not even give them the opportunity to have a game-changing interception. And in the formation they're in right now, here's a tackle. Here's an offensive lineman on the right side, the bottom of the O-line. That's an offensive lineman. Here's your tight end in the left tackle formation.
Drive now over 6 minutes. Thompson, he's going to take a shot. Oh, he's got him. Incomplete. Jamison Hines slipped, and Oliver Martin, who played at Iowa in 2019, could have had a touchdown.
Well, why'd he slip, Brandon? How about this double move? Oliver Martin comes up, centers his feet. I'm going to run a curl route. Jamison Hines bites on it. And boy, did he get lucky on that one, because that looked like an easy touchdown to seal the deal.
And you know Martin would have loved that. He played at West High School here in Iowa City. Holds the state records for receptions, yards, and touchdowns. But couldn't bring that one in, and Nebraska punts on 4th down. And it'll settle at the 10. 9:34 to go. 3-possession game.
Where heartburn strikes, get fast relief with Tums. It's time to love food back.
Tums. Introducing Discover Online Privacy Protection. We'll help remove your personal data from 10 popular people search websites. Because the thing about your personal information is that it should stay private. Online privacy protection. Free from Discover.
This is the hotel breakfast.
It looked different online.
Do you children like eggs? Here, they make your bones grow.
It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine.
All right, guys. Look alive.
Is it fine, Daryl?
I'm starving.
When free hot breakfast can make or break your day, it matters where you stay.
Go get 'em.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Saturday, the regular season concludes with a colossal doubleheader. Wisconsin faces Ohio State. Then, Nebraska hosts Minnesota. Women's volleyball, powered by Unleaded 88. Saturday, only on Big Ten Network.
For the biggest Big Ten experience, there's no plus like home. The Big Ten Plus app, your favorite Big Ten content streaming and on demand. Plus the iconic games and exclusive events. Only on the Big Ten Plus app, powered by Big Ten Network. Download and subscribe now.
Wednesday, the ACC Big Ten Women's Challenge tips off with a doubleheader. Purdue faces Syracuse. Then, Minnesota hosts Wake Forest. Coverage begins Wednesday at 6 Eastern, only on Big Ten Network.
I want to say hello to Gerald and Rosalie Rittenauer watching today as they celebrate their 60th wedding anniversary from Nebraska, now live in Pennsylvania to be close to their kids and grandkids, but they're diehard Cornhusker fans, never miss a game. So Gerald and Rosalie, hope you're having a wonderful holiday. Happy 60th. I'm sure they're enjoying what they're seeing right now with Nebraska up 24-7. Just 9:34 remaining as Iowa takes over deep in their own territory. Padilla to Ragaini. Ragaini, nice move. Stays on his feet out to the 30. Good start to the drive for Iowa.
Ragaini's probably their best route runner. 6 foot 196, almost like a jitterbug out there, man. Great change of direction. So fluid. He's running full speed, and when he changed direction, he never loses speed. He creates a lot of separation, and then not only that, he did it after the catch there.
Iowa's longest pass play today. It went for 20 yards. Padilla back to the air. Pressure. Just got rid of it before O'Shawn Mathis got in for a sack.
Well, where this offensive line has struggled, it's been against the edge rushers. Here's 78 right here. It's been the tackles all day long. He's setting out. You got help inside, and I mean, you had 2 over 1 there. That's a favorable matchup. No way should you give up any type of pressure. Mathis, a nice move, but I mean, you had your left guard and left tackle 2-on-1, and neither of them could block him.
As you look at the clock, remember that penalty by Sebastian Castro where he jumped over the top, it cost them 3 minutes and 11 seconds. We're inside of 9 minutes. Padilla, pitch and catch, first down over the middle, finding the tight end Lachey.
Really soft hands, really smooth athlete. 6'6", 252, big target running across the middle. Padilla puts it right on.
Padilla trying to escape. Boy, Mathis got hands on him again, and then he just flipped it out of bounds. Incomplete, not grounding. Second down and 10. Later tonight, the Badgers can clinch the Big Ten volleyball title, but a Huskers squad with championship hopes of their own stand in the way. It's powered by Unleaded 88. Tonight, 8 Eastern, Big Ten Network, Fox Sports app. But look, Iowa realizes right now they have to throw the football.
3-score game. You hardly have enough time. You know, it's going to be up against the clock down the stretch of this game. Needs some type of score here. It's 4-down territory through the rest of this game.
It's the backup quarterback from Greenwood Village, Colorado, after Petrus went out earlier injured. Fires a fastball, and a good fastball. Going right back to the tight end Lachey for a first down into Nebraska territory.
That's been their bread and butter route. It's a tight end classic. The stick route is a 5-yard out. A branch is a bigger version of a stick, so a branch is a 10-yard out. Bang, working on a linebacker, puts his foot in the ground. Remember, he hit that same route earlier in the game. In one-on-one coverage, he's got leverage. The linebacker's working inside out. Lachey can break out, and that's a matchup they'll take all day.
Lachey was a 4-star tight end in the 2020 class. He was a top 10 tight end in the nation. Spotlight on him today because star Sam Laporta is out with a leg injury.
Oh my.
There is some movement, to say the least. Flags flying from everywhere.
It's killed him all day. Momentum, self-inflicted wound.
Would be their 7th penalty and their 3rd false start.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's on the center, Logan Jones.
So it looked like Padilla was going to come up and change the play, and the center must have thought, hey, it's time to go. Either way, no one's going to feel sorry for you on that one. You got to get it sorted out.
With the penalty, it brings up the first and 15 at the 46.
Clock winds inside of 8 minutes. Iowa's title hopes dwindling. Pressure hit as he throws, but he's able to complete it. It's Ragaini again to the 35, a flag here. It came in the backfield. Could it be a late hit?
Yeah. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. Number 33, contact, high contact. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. Automatic first down.
He's bringing it off the slot, and I mean, yep, that's easy. I mean, he ducked his head, Brandon. I mean, it's right there. The official's looking right at it. You see the head snap back by Padilla, and that'll tack 15 yards onto it.
And he jumped and launched toward the helmet area and had the right arm up there as well. Javen Wright, the sophomore, getting more playing time today due to injuries. So that moves the football to the edge of the red zone at the 20.
You need a field goal and 2 touchdowns. So at the minimum, don't take any sacks. You got to get 3 points at a minimum on this drive, but you'd love to capitalize on the momentum and finish with a touchdown.
Padilla flush from the pocket and just gets rid of it. Colton Feast was pursuing, looking for a sack.
This is where the offensive line has struggled. They've been improving throughout the year, but the offensive line has struggled to keep a clean pocket, to pick up pressures and blitzes. And in this situation, for the whole rest of the game, Nebraska knows it's passing downs. All 3 downs, Iowa's going to have to drop back. Nebraska, opportunity to get after it and get into their pass rush moves.
Red zone struggles, all part of the offensive struggles they've had this season. This drive started at their own 10. They've worked it to the 20. Padilla, pitch and catch, Ragaini. Slips into the 14.
Jitterbug. Full speed coming across, bang, foot in the ground. He just never loses. He seems to work at the same speed all throughout the play. Never loses any type of speed.
Timeout, Nebraska.
Charge timeout, Nebraska. They're first.
6:55 left.
Be a full timeout.
Wednesday, the ACC Big Ten Women's Challenge tips off with a doubleheader. Purdue faces Syracuse. Then, Minnesota hosts Wake Forest. Coverage begins Wednesday at 6 Eastern, only on Big Ten Network.
I'll be back in a sec.
We can't wait forever.
All your nacho fries, please. Can't be mad. We got you nacho fries.
Made with Mexican spices. Made for nacho cheese sauce. Only at Taco Bell.
This is why you come to be special. To play in games like this.
Ohio State game is going to be a dogfight. It's going to be one of the biggest games in history. Get so much emotions behind me and thinking about playing that game.
The Journey, Tuesday on Big Ten Network.
Saturday, the regular season concludes with a colossal doubleheader. Wisconsin faces Ohio State. Then, Nebraska hosts Minnesota. Women's volleyball, powered by Unleaded 88. Saturday, only on Big Ten Network.
For the biggest Big Ten experience, there's no plus like home. The Big Ten Plus app, your favorite Big Ten content streaming and on demand. Plus the iconic games and exclusive events. Only on the Big Ten Plus app, powered by Big Ten Network. Download and subscribe now.
Tomorrow, 3 games on our network. Rutgers and Maryland, and then Purdue, Indiana, Illinois, Northwestern. It all starts with Big Ten Tailgate tomorrow. Big Ten Network, Fox Sports app. Of course, if Iowa loses and Purdue wins, Purdue is in the Big Ten championship game. And how about this for Iowa? 58th play, and it's their first in the red zone today.
They're in an empty set. That's Luke Lachey towards the top of your screen, your big 6'6" tight end.
3rd and 4, caught, dragging him all the way in. Touchdown, Lachey. Touchdown, Iowa. Did he get in?
Dragging guys with him, the big tight end. And it looks to me like he got in. Knee is not down. Shin is down.
It's close.
It's close.
But it was ruled a touchdown, and that's always the important thing, and it will stay a touchdown. They went 90 yards in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Very unorthodox for this Iowa offense, but they turned to the passing attack, and it worked out.
Luke Lachey showed up big on that drive. So there he is. He's your big tight end, flexed out all the way out to the outside. And he's working on Malcolm Hartzog, a freshman. And in a big moment, you go to your tight end. Luke Lachey's thrown into the #1 tight end spot with Sam Laporta down. Nice accurate pass, puts it right on his chest, and then there goes the size from the big fella, dragging a couple Cornhuskers into the end zone with him. And how about the emotion? We're not done yet, Iowa Hawkeye fans.
On that drive, you said he was big. He was. 3 catches, 43 yards of the 90 that they marched to get this down to 10 points. And now things start to get a little interesting. Still 6:49 to go. And remember, this series has been littered with close games. Last year, yes, Iowa won, but at the end of the third quarter, they were down 12. And they found a way to come back and get it done. Can they do it again today?
Nebraska up in an onside recover formation, but it looks like the Hawkeyes are kicking it deep.
And Stevens will. Easy touchback. So now for Nebraska. Formula seems pretty simple, right? Eat that clock. Iowa 2 timeouts left.
And for Nebraska, I mean, what an unbelievable opportunity, right? You've lost so many close games. You've fought so hard, but haven't been able to come through. Here's your chance. Last week against Wisconsin, you had a couple opportunities to get some first downs and run out the clock and seal the game. Here you are up 2 possessions with the ball in your hands. Little under 7 minutes to go. A couple first downs and a couple clocks ticking down, Brandon. It makes it that much harder. Every second that ticks off makes it that much harder for Iowa to come back.
Johnson, do you use the timeouts here if you're Iowa, or do you hold them? Let's see what they decide. Well, now Iowa's saying that there was a fumble at the end of this. Seth Benson came out of the huddle saying it's our football, but there was no signal, and they are going to say second down.
Okay. Well, this is going to be something to watch, right? This is where Iowa makes their money. This is how they win.
Hard to tell in the scrum.
It'll be hard to overturn with forward progress. Let's see. Oh my!
He's still laying on top. But you don't know where the whistle was and if they had blown it dead, but now they're going to take another look.
Wow.
So hold the phone.
The ruling on the field was the runner was down. The play's under further review.
I just wasn't sure if they whistled it dead for stopping forward progress.
Correct.
Listen to this and see when you hear the whistle. I mean, I never heard a whistle.
I didn't either.
Dean Blandino joins us. Dean, could this be a fumble here?
It definitely could be a fumble, and from that look, it looks like the ball is out. Now remember, the ruling on the field was that he was down. Referee Ron Snodgrass said the ruling was down. So replay can look at this. They did not rule forward progress. Now we have to see, is it a fumble, and then do we have a clear recovery? It's going to be tough to tell in the pile. As I'm looking at this, the Nebraska player might regain control. It's very close and difficult to see exactly what happens.
Yeah, it's Johnson fumbled it. It's Logan Klemp on the bottom, and Dean just said clear recovery. Is there evidence that Klemp took it from him and clearly possessed it? That's the other piece to this. They're taking a long look at it.
The ball's out there. To me, it's clear that the ball is out. And to me, it looks like it's in Logan Klemp's hands. Brandon,
Boy, this is
wow.
You want to talk about just the turning point potentially in this football game. It's right here. All ears on Ron Snodgrass.
After review, the ball was coming loose from the runner, and Iowa recovered the football. It's first down and 10, Iowa at the 27-yard line.
And the plot thickens even more. First turnover for Nebraska today.
The Iowa bench is going nuts. The crowd is going nuts. Injected some serious belief into this Hawkeye team, and now the pressure really is on Nebraska.
You mentioned Nebraska and all the heartache that this program has suffered. 6 consecutive losing seasons, and since the start of last year, they've had 13 losses by 1 possession. They led 24-0 in this game. Padilla tries to drop off the screen, and boy, it's almost intercepted. Mathis got his fingertips on it for Nebraska.
That's a great job by Mathis, because there was a lot of green grass, a lot of space out there. They're trying to get it to Williams on the running back screen, and look at that. That was a dangerous pass anyways, but it's a great job to settle into this drive and force a no gain to start it off.
You do need 2 scores. They're already in field goal range.
Can't take a sack. You're right. In field goal range, you cannot take a sack if you're Alex Padilla.
From here, it would be about a 45-yarder. And Padilla pumps. Just trying to buy some time, and then he gets rid of it before Ty Robinson shoves him to the ground.
Now, he had Lachey running down the middle of the pipe. I mean, it's one-on-one coverage. It's a 6'6" tight end. I thought he was going to rip one upstairs for him and give him a shot at it.
See if they can get at least a little closer for Drew Stevens. He's a true freshman kicker. His season long is 54.
Nebraska is in a blitzing formation. Can't take a sack if you're Padilla.
They only rush 4, and that pass is almost intercepted. Oh, Quentin Newsome had it in his hands. He can't believe it. Their top cornerback.
Oh my gosh, man. I mean, that's a gift-wrapped interception, not a tight spiral. Doesn't have enough on it. Newsome, oh, he just kind of babies it a little bit, right? He just almost can't believe it that it's there. Oh my, that would have put the game away. Almost put the game away. And how about this? What a big field goal here, Brandon.
Oh, it's huge. I mentioned Stevens, a true freshman, a 54-yarder his long this year. And this one from 45. It's leaking, but it stays within the post. And we've got a 1-score game in Iowa City. Drew Stevens gets it to 24-17.
Your avocado toast.
Ew. Ew. When the only thing your 8-year-old will eat is waffles, it matters where you stay.
Yum. Enjoy. Thank you.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
Dave, Jerry, and Howard with you. Suddenly, we have a game.
You know, both teams have a history in this situation. One has a good history,
the other
and Nebraska has a bad history.
And it's interesting. I said at halftime, when the lights come on, the Kinnick, things get real interesting. Things have been really interesting.
This would be the largest comeback in Iowa history. Were they to pull it off? 24-17, 7-point game. Let's send it back to Brandon and Jake.
All right, Dave, and that's the trophy they're playing for. They've done that since 2011. Iowa's won 7 straight, and Dave just mentioned it. This would be, if they could pull it off, the largest comeback win in Iowa history. They were down 24-0. They've got their backup quarterback in there because their starter was injured. They lost one of their best secondary defenders, but all of a sudden, they've scored 10 points in 68 seconds, and they've got a fighting chance. Stevens, who kicked the 45-yard field goal to get it to 1 score, set to do the honors. And Palmer just calls for a fair catch. Iowa with the win. It would be their 5th straight. More importantly, it would send them to Indianapolis to face either Michigan or Ohio State. Purdue and Illinois watching anxiously.
Brandon, if I'm Nebraska here, you've been trying to milk the clock. You've kind of abandoned your offensive identity. I think you go back and put your foot on the gas, and you need to get the ball back in Trey Palmer's hands. In the first half, Palmer had 6 catches, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Here in the second half, Palmer only has 2 catches and 11 yards.
After the big first half for Nebraska, just 77 yards here in the second half. Grant nowhere to go. All the momentum is with the home team right now.
And this has been the situation Nebraska has found themselves in for so much of recent history. Iowa's found ways to win. They found ways to win the close one. Nebraska, on the other hand, has, in a sense, found ways to lose. Here's your chance to right that wrong. Here's your chance to change that history, your opportunity to win a close one and put Iowa away.
In addition to those games, they had 8 losses of that variety last year. 5 minutes to play, and another tackle for loss. Noah Shannon shot out of a cannon. 3rd and long. How aggressive does Nebraska get here, Jake?
Well, be careful, because Iowa, their identity is to take the ball away.
Casey Thompson lets it fly. It's caught. It's Palmer. Palmer fights. I don't think he got there. Boy, it's close. Jamison Hines, Jake, had him by the jersey and may have kept him about a foot short. Everybody is down there waiting to make sure that they officially ruled it short, and they did. It is 4th down.
You're right. I mean, Trey Palmer ran a great route. He started to the post, put his foot in the ground, and broke out to the sidelines. It looked like he had a lot of separation. He had Jamison Hines beat, but Hines came up and made a huge tackle.
Timeout, Nebraska, their second.
So Mickey Joseph takes a timeout. Take a deep breath, everybody. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
What a play by Jamison Hines to grab Palmer by the jersey and keep him short to bring up 4th down. Look at that effort.
Man. Straining. You think it means so much to him.
And Palmer is angry. They did not take a look at it. Palmer thought he had the first down.
And I think he wanted to stay out there. He wanted to go for it.
But instead, the punter, Brian Buschini. Bruce is going to let it bounce. A few extra yards. Everyone counts at this point. To the 21. Down to Rick.
There is so much nervous energy, and not in a good way, on this Nebraska sideline right now. This is deja vu. You remember a year ago in Lincoln, Nebraska had this game in hand. Iowa forced some mistakes. We reported a year ago, I can remember it like it was yesterday, that the eyes started to roll and the Huskers wondered, are we going through this again? A lot of these players were on that team a year ago, and Jake could speak to this. You could try to convince them, last year doesn't matter, get that out of your mind, focus on the task at hand. Everyone is human. Those thoughts, trust me, are filtering through a lot of these players' minds right now.
Yeah, Nebraska led it 21-6 last year before things unraveled, and things are certainly unraveling right now for the Cornhuskers. Ball batted in the air, but able to get his paws on it was Nick DeYoung. He just caught it, the big right guard, and brought it down to the ground safely, but it's a loss of 4. And that clock keeps moving.
Rick brings up a good point. I mean, listen, Nebraska, you got a 7-point lead. You think Iowa, you force their offense. They got to drive 82 yards now to score and tie up the game, but somehow it feels like the pressure's really on the Cornhuskers, and the Hawkeyes are in the driver's seat.
But a good start to this drive by this Husker defense. Padilla, low throw, incomplete. He has only targeted Deontay Vines twice, once in the first quarter and then right there, and it's 3rd and 14.
And of course, a big 3rd down here. Crowd quiet. It was ready to burst and go nuts. They've quieted down. You don't need to get it all here. You'd like to just get it in, get 6-7 yards, get it into 4th and manageable. And why not go back to number 85, Luke Lachey? He's been your go-to guy. Here he is, the tight end. Had a big touchdown, helped him drive the ball down the field last drive.
Padilla sets up shop. And it's caught. It is Lachey. He's got the first down. What a huge throw from Padilla and a huge catch by Luke Lachey.
And it's that deep stick route once again, Brandon. They've hit that about 4 or 5 times today. Lachey gets up to about 10 yards and just settles in that zone. And Padilla's been on time and accurate on that route.
Back to the air for the backup quarterback. Pressure Mathis. He was coming for him. And Padilla lets it go. 2nd and 10. Clock at 2:25. Iowa 2 timeouts. If you weren't with us earlier, starting quarterback Spencer Petras, 5th-year senior, who has 31 starts under his belt, injured his shoulder. Padilla was called into action and has filled in for the last 3+ quarters.
And he's done a pretty darn good job, Brandon. With his back against the wall, Iowa looked hopeless. He's been able to lead him on a couple scoring drives to give him a shot at tying this game here late in the 4th quarter.
On 2nd and 10, Padilla, all kinds of time. Oh my! It's Newsome again. He had one in his hands on the last drive that he almost intercepted. Deja vu all over again.
Well, if Iowa somehow pulls off this comeback, I don't think Newsome's going to sleep an hour tonight, man. 2 chances to put the game away. 2 times Padilla put it right in the breadbasket and put it on his numbers. And twice Newsome dropped the game-sealing interceptions.
And a senior leader, Caleb Tanner, saying, stay in this, buddy. Let's finish the deal. And Quentin Newsome is a good corner, folks. He's the top cornerback on this team from Sewanee, Georgia. Iowa just converted to 3rd and 14. This is 3rd and 10, but Padilla's in some trouble. Launches it downfield, and it's caught! Or did he not stay in bounds? Arlen Bruce, they're going to say, at least for the moment, it's a catch. Yes, they rule a reception, a miracle reception. Oh, that ball, though, It looks like he's bobbling it. When did he corral it? And did he drag that left toe enough?
That's a huge call.
I mean, they've got to go take a look at this.
Ruling on the field was a completed catch. The play's under further review.
Rule to completion. If it's incomplete, it's 4th and 10, and Iowa's season will come down to the next play.
With all the drama in the West this year, Brandon, right? This is a very fitting ending. So he's got the foot in, but now he has control. There goes the foot down again.
You know, you just can't tell where that right foot is either because his leg is blocking it from this angle.
Okay.
He doesn't have it now.
Doesn't have it.
Right there.
Oh, my.
Boy, that's close. Dean Blandino, we're keeping you busy tonight. You are the expert. What do you think?
Yeah, the key is when does he establish control? He doesn't have it immediately. He's going to get, in my opinion, control when he pins it to his body with his right hand right there. The left foot looks like it's up. The right toe does touch. Now he's going to the ground. He has to maintain control all the way to the ground, and I'm trying to see if he does.
It's an incomplete pass.
Wow.
It's 4th down at the 33-yard line.
Dean, do you think there was enough there to reverse that? What's your opinion?
Based on that shot, no. But remember, they have access to all of our cameras, our individual cameras, and they must have had a shot that showed the ball come loose when he hit the ground. That's the key. It's not the feet. It's when he hit the ground, the ball came loose.
All right, Dean, thank you very much. 4th down and 10. There have been so many huge turning points, big calls, big penalties. And this, right now, the play of the game.
And there's one guy I'm looking at here, Brandon, their go-to guy, their tight end, Luke Lachey. He's done it in big moments. It looks like he might be doubled by Nebraska's defense.
Padilla steps up, lets it fly, incomplete. There are no flags. He was trying to get it to Nico Ragaini. Now Iowa does have 2 timeouts. 2:06 on the clock, so we're not completely done yet.
What's killed Iowa's offense more than anything is the offensive line. Struggling to keep a clean pocket in key moments. And there's Padilla, really had to let go of it a split second before he wanted to, because he had a Nebraska edge rusher right in his face.
Yeah, Mathis and company were coming. O'Shawn Mathis has been very disruptive, the TCU transfer, for that Cornhusker defense.
And now you're telling everybody in the huddle, ball security. Offensive linemen, tight ends, follow your running back. If that ball gets loose, you need a lot of white jerseys around it. You know the Hawkeyes are going to be ripping at it.
Keeping it with Grant, as expected. Iowa can take that first of their 2 remaining timeouts. But they're going to just let the clock run now. They're going to wait and use them after the next 2 plays.
And Brandon, you know, the key here too is they're right on the fringe of field goal range. And you remember Nebraska missed that field goal earlier in the game.
And obviously a field goal, and good night, Irene. Nebraska is just going to use their final timeout here. Let this go all the way down. 1:22 remaining.
Charge timeout, Nebraska. 3rd and final timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
Well, 45 degrees, but sweating in Iowa City. Back in 30 seconds.
I'll confess, our crew strategically stashes snacks on game day.
Jenny, you don't need to get that personal. State Farm Personal Price Plan simply helps you create an affordable price.
Nacho?
Call or click to get a quote today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Wednesday, the ACC Big 10 Women's Challenge tips off with a doubleheader. Purdue faces Syracuse. Then, Minnesota hosts Wake Forest. Coverage begins Wednesday at 6 Eastern, only on Big 10 Network.
Kirk Ferentz opted to not use the timeout after the first down play. Still has the 2 remaining. You could argue that he should have taken it and hoped for a turnover and save a little clock. Either way, 2nd and 9 as they hurry up to the line here and hand it off. Gabe Ervin is flipped upside down by Jamison Hines, and now Kirk Ferentz will use the timeout.
Iowa.
Back at 30.
This is a 30-second timeout.
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
Nebraska has lost 7 straight to Iowa, trying to pull off the stunner. Coming up after the game, Big Ten Live Football postgame presented by State Farm breaks down all the action, and there's a lot of action to break down. So here's a 3rd and 7. A field goal from here would be 48 yards.
And Bleak Road, he missed from 32 earlier, made it from 21. This would be the long on the day.
Would also be the long of his season. Kane, hold on. That's going to be against Nebraska. There was movement, so this is all you're seeing right now is not going to matter. The play never got off. He's just getting his steps in on his Fitbit.
Ball start. Offense, number 54. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down. Please reset the game clock to 1:18.
They're trying to run some trickery here, right? Oh, my. Oh, my.
Well,
they called a false start. He snapped it before they said they were going to try to switch formations.
You think that could have been a fumble?
Ooh.
Well, either way, you think about that penalty, that would take the field goal potentially to 53 instead of 48. Dean Blandino in our ear says that was the right call, by the way, because they were not all set up front.
Dangerous, though. My goodness. And you got to run it here, right? If you're Mickey Joseph, if you're Nebraska, you got to run it. You got to force Iowa to use their last timeout. You'd love to try to get some yards and get a potential shot. Look at a field goal.
Grant in the backfield. And he gets the call. Looking for any yardage, but there's none there. Moss and Jack Campbell, one of the 5 Butkus finalists for the best linebacker in the country, make the stop.
3rd and final timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
Iowa takes their final timeout in a decision for Nebraska. Do you risk the long field goal, or do you try a little pooch punt to pin Iowa even deeper?
You know, Brandon, honestly, with the missed field goal, here it is from 32 earlier, missed it wide right. His long on the season is 46. Iowa, no timeouts at this point. And I think this is what Nebraska's going to do. They're sending out their punt team. Try to pin them deep.
Interesting decision for Mickey Joseph, the interim head coach, who took over for Scott Frost after Frost was fired back in early September.
And here's the key here. Looks like Iowa's going to send the house, understanding, hey, they're not going to get much of a return anyways. They're going to try to get a block on this one.
Buschini set to punt it. And Buschini able to get it away. Arlen Bruce waits for it, but it goes over his head and into the end zone. Well played by Arlen Bruce. That fake fair catch call. And that's only a net punt of 14 yards.
And Buschini's not happy because he did exactly what he's supposed to do. That gunner running down the field, I mean, look at him, he's frustrated. That gunner, as soon as you see the fair catch go up, you don't have to play him anymore. You got to get your eyes to the football and try to down it and catch it. You're taught that from day one in special teams. Buschini is fired up, and rightfully so, because you're right. That's a difference from being pinned back inside the 5-yard line. Here it is, right? There's your gunner. You got to get your eyes on the football. You had plenty of time to pin them back, and instead of being pinned inside the 5, you give Iowa the ball on the 20-yard line. A huge difference.
Yeah, that was Morton for Nebraska. That could loom large. Hawkeyes still have a pulse. Padilla underneath, complete. Gavin Williams steps out of bounds.
Protection is going to be huge. It's hurt them all day. Iowa's offensive line has struggled to give Padilla time. Nebraska's defensive line knows that, and with no timeouts, a sack would kill you in the situation.
Padilla has 91 yards in this quarter. Can he get 78 more here?
They got that great look. There's Lachey. He's been running that little stick route. It's another great look for it here.
Padilla escapes, has to get rid of it, out of bounds. 3rd and 8, 56 seconds. No timeouts either team.
Great job by Nebraska's defensive line. They're creating pressure, but listen, for this Iowa, for these front 5, you got to bow up, man. This is one shot, one drive for your season, a chance to go to Indianapolis. You got to protect your quarterback. Right now, Nebraska's been dominating and getting after these offensive linemen.
Iowa's chances of winning the West closing with every moment. 3rd down and 8. Padilla steps up. Eyes downfield, but nowhere to go. Incomplete. No flag over there, by the way. Coverage was clean. And it's 4th down and 8, and Iowa obviously has to have it. All the adversity they faced this year, everybody was down on them. They were 3-4. Their offense couldn't score. They haven't been able to score all season, but they've won 4 straight. They were in the driver's seat to win the West coming into this game. Nebraska was up 24-0. Now it's 24-17, but this is the Hawkeye season. Padilla, clean pocket. Padilla intercepted. Ball game over. Picked off by Chris Kolarvik. And the Wild Wild West is still up for grabs.
And man, Padilla, you have to see that. Here's your linebacker just dropping into the zone. Kolarvik, check this out. He's sitting there the whole way. Padilla, oh my, I don't know how you missed that one.
The backup quarterback, a big interception.
Man, he fought hard, Brandon. I'll give him credit. The Hawkeyes fought hard, but what a huge win for Mickey Joseph in Nebraska. They faced this adversity so many times. They've lost so many close games, and it looked bleak there for a minute, but they found a way to get it done.
Thompson down to a knee, and Nebraska is going to end their 7-game losing streak to Iowa. They came in big underdogs. Iowa had everything to play for. Mickey Joseph said it's our role to play spoiler, and indeed they will play spoiler here today. The Heroes Trophy is headed to Lincoln, and Purdue and Illinois still have hope in the West. And Jake, the 70,000 here that came in so amped up, so excited. They were dejected. They got down 24-0. Then they had all this new life, but dejected again as they lose a heartbreaker here today.
And what a day indeed, Brandon. I mean, we've come to know Iowa to be disciplined. We've come to know Iowa to force turnovers. We've known Nebraska to struggle to close out games. And everything we thought we knew was completely flipped upside down today. Iowa, so many mistakes, so many turnovers, so many penalties. Nebraska able to capitalize on those mistakes. And even with the game closing out, with the clock ticking down, it wasn't looking good. Their backs against the wall. Iowa, a couple chances to drive down, score, and tie. Nebraska finds a way to win.
Nebraska did it. Let's go down to Rick.
Mickey, just saw you celebrating with your players, hoisting that trophy. How special is that moment for this group, especially for the seniors that played their last game in this uniform?
Well, I take my hat off to these kids, especially these seniors who hadn't gotten a lot of wins, in their career here. But they're high-character kids. I wouldn't trade them for the world. And it was a great feeling celebrating them right there.
How is this group able to stick together through all the trials and travails of this year?
Hey, we brothers, we love each other, and we're going to fight for each other. That was our agreement, that we was going to continue to fight every game. And there's going to be some adversity along the way. And we was going to bow our neck, and we was going to fight.
You've known this young man over your right shoulder, Trey Palmer, for quite some time. An outstanding game this afternoon. What makes him so special?
He's a good kid, first of all, and he's got a lot of confidence, and that's going to go a long way.
Lastly, Mickey, you wait for a decision on your future this week. How do you feel about the foot that you put forward with this group?
Well, I can't give it to myself, So I'm going to celebrate with the team tonight. I'm going to be on the couch tomorrow with my kids, and then they'll make a decision, and I'll be okay with whatever decision they make.
Well, whatever that decision is, you'll enjoy this one forever. Mickey, we appreciate the time. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mickey, who played quarterback at Nebraska, got his biggest win as an interim head coach today. A stunner in Iowa, 24-17. Jake, great job, man. Great working with you, partner.
Likewise, Brandon. What a way to close out the season. What an awesome game.
He's Jake Butt for Rick Pizzo on the sideline. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Thanks to our entire crew for their excellent work all season long. You guys are fantastic. And thanks to you at home for watching. Football postgame presented by State Farm is coming up with Dave, Howard, and Jerry. So long, everybody.
On an urgent Fansville.
Hurry! It's almost kickoff. I am. Oh, they logged me out! What's the password?